whole riot thing.
Well, that's why I haven't mentioned it on the air, right? Here we go. By the way, we're going live on YouTube right now.
Okay, dog. I'll kill the video here.
Hey, everybody on YouTube. How y'all doing tonight? We got to be excited here. It is R Keith Andrews night. The Woo train is getting ready to leave, and we are all on board. I hope you had a great Friday afternoon and evening as we are on the clock for the weekend, and it's going to be a great time. Let's give a shout out to everybody who's here so far. Hey, Waylon, thank you for coming on in early, getting things started. Lord of Land, number 2. Number 3 in the bronze medal position, we have Horror Realm. Middle Child is waiting to see if the one of the top 3 tests positive for steroids so he can move into the medal round. Good to have you all here. Little Marky Spender. Hello, Little Marky Spender. Hi, Baxter. Hi, Baxter. Hi, Baxter. Anyways, let's see here. Hey, Brett Lewis. Good to have you here, man. Good to have you here. Bigfoot, Michigan Rob. You got big feet, brother. Hi, beautiful Eva. How are you? Bart L. and the Third Nipple Crew are here tonight. Good to have you here. Hi, gorgeous Helena. Good to have you here. Filth, you're a dirty, dirty filth, man. How you doing, brother? Good to have you here. Hey, Triple M, thanks for coming on in. Ronald Penton, the Ronald Penton, not the Ronald Penton. We're going to have a great show tonight. R Keith is here. He's fired up. I just saw video footage of him. His hair looks fantastic tonight. Hair is on fire, Ronnie.
Well, I hope not.
Oh, it's going to be a good night. It's going to be a good night, my friend. Science Bob is here. Science Bob, everybody. Let's give a round of applause for Science Bob. Just moved into his brand new house. All right. Hey, Gary, what's happening, man? Shanna Banana, you're looking as beautiful as ever. Thank you for coming on in. Where are we here? He talks the woo, the man they call Davine. All right, there we go. Hey, Larry, thanks for joining us tonight. Really appreciate that. Same to you, Darcy. We got a great show tonight. R Keith Andrews is here with the ET Connection. It happens the first Friday of every month. Susan, thank you for coming on in. You gorgeous doll. Hi, BGs. Thank you for joining us. All right. I got to get into this chat room here. Hey, Barther, you see I changed my picture, right? On LGAB. All right, who else we got? The lovely Lori. Thank you for coming on in. Hey, Grendel. Thanks for joining us tonight. Who else we got in here? Oh, I think we're all caught up right now. Science Bob, I'm going to give you a call tomorrow. Got to talk to you about something. Kind of cool. UFO related. I just got to find out more information. Anyways, hey, Spookles the cat. We are 2.5 minutes away. 2.5 minutes away from the greatest show in Wootainment. Hey, we hit 300 pages of comments on LGAB. That's kind of cool. That is kind of cool. Let's give some praise here to the people who are listening. Grendel, thank you so much for the super chat. You're getting in there early and often lately. I love it. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. All right. Well, R Keith Andrews action tonight. The Kingdom of Woo is here. Mr. Apnea, thank you for staying awake. Dave's chin is still scary. I'm going to shave it soon. The chin hairs are going to come off soon because now that I got the beard back, I can trim the Fu Manchu here. All right, we're about 30 seconds away, everyone. We're going to have a great show tonight. R Keith Andrews is here, the ET Connection, and we're going to have so much fun with Keith, as we always do. And I want to remind all of you, thank you to Grendel for kicking off the super chat tonight. And Greco jumping on in as well. Thank you, Greco. Really appreciate it. Super chat is open. Give us a thumbs up if you don't mind. Hit that subscribe button. Ring that bell. And we're going to kick off tonight's show in 10 seconds here. Let's have some fun tonight. Here we go, Keith. Music is on. Friday night special. High Double 8 Sparkles, otherwise known as Manitoba Becky, looking as hot as ever. Lance, thanks for coming on in. My nose hairs are a little trimmed. All right, here we go. Let's have a good one, everybody. Enjoy your night. From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show, including our terrestrial affiliates across North America and digitally on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are right here for you, free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter if you haven't already, at Spaced Out Radio, and my personal handle at Dave Scott SOR. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including Rockin' Out to Bumblefoot, read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, and much more. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. You know, near the beginning of each month, we got to get our woo on to kick things off right on this show. That's where we bring in our resident ET Contactee R Keith Andrews, who continually discusses the purpose of aliens coming to Earth and having contact with us. Keith is not only an ET Contactee, he is also highly intuitive. His gifts have helped him help others for more than 30 years. Keith proclaims he has been in touch with more than 40 extraterrestrial species since childhood. We'll learn about some of them tonight. He is also a near-death experiencer as well, and a published author. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, I will bring you the SOR Newswire, brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. All right, Keith is just having some technical issues on his side. Technically, he's actually working right now. He's at work. He works out of his home. And so you got me here for just a little bit until Keith gets back. We don't know when he's going to be back, but you got me. And, you know, I got to say this. When it comes to UFOs and when it comes to the experience and the science behind it all, we have to sit here and wonder, how much time should we be putting into this? We have to sit here and wonder, how much effort should we be putting into this? Why? Because we know there are things happening out there. We know that we have the ability to try and get everything going to make this phenomena real. Do we have the evidence? Sure we do. We have enough evidence for Bigfoot. We got enough evidence for ghosts to show that they are real as well. But when it comes to ufology and it comes to ET contact, there is this giant division that seems to be happening within the field of UFOs. Many are only in it for the television position. Those people are easy to spot. You know, they don't mind stealing people's work. I know there's someone out there who has stolen ideas from a scientist friend. For what? What is the purpose on that? Right? What is the purpose on that? And let me tell you, when people look at this community and they wonder why we are so mixed up, why we are so out there trying to figure out what is going on, where's our tinfoil hats, it always makes me laugh as to why many people out there don't believe us. Don't believe the experiences. They don't believe anything. They do not believe anything that is going on in regards to UFOs. And it's too bad because there's a lot of stuff happening. And, you know, I wrote a blog last week. If you haven't read it already, I highly suggest you do at spacedoutradio.com. It was about Skyhub. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying I have friends like Science Bob and Sweet Stevie, who are the creators of Skyhub, amongst some other brainiac people. All right? I'm not being paid by them. I'm choosing to endorse them because of their credentials, because of their reason to want to bring UFOs to the forefront for everybody to see. It's almost like forcing disclosure. These brainiac scientists that we've always asked to join the field of ufology, to join the fight for evidence and proof. Well, these guys have stood up and they've said, yeah, what the heck? We'll do it. We will do it. And here they are, and they made a great video. Okay? Because one of their Skyhub cameras caught something about 10 days ago in Houston, Texas. And he caught something that was very, very anomalous. Now, they'll be the first ones to say, look, we can't say it's a UFO. We cannot say that it is a unidentified aerial phenomena. What they can say is they don't know the speed of it. They don't know the height. Looking at it very, very professionally, which is the way it should be done. It's the way it totally should be done. And I tell you, I'm excited about this project for the simple reason that the credentials behind this group, the credentials behind what they are doing and are trying to accomplish for you, me, anybody else who has literally had an experience that you can't explain. All right. And I got to tell you, hey, Rich.
Hey, Dave.
How you doing, Rich?
Doing well, sir.
How was your
What's
show?
going on?
Rich, I was just talking a little bit about Skyhub here because R Keith Andrews is working. So I figured I'd give you a ring.
Oh, right. Yeah, thanks.
Oh, no problem. Sorry for not giving you much notice. Literally, as I was reading the introduction, Keith got called back to work. So I figured, you know what? I'll call little Richie G up because I know Goof On was just ending. And I figured I'd call you.
All right.
So I was talking about Skyhub here and with Science Bob and everything. You had a chance to review that. You've been doing UFO investigations for better part of 15 years here. You know, what's your thoughts when you see that video?
A lot of things, Dave. The one thing that he said he's going to work on is taking it from the circle and making it into a flat, normal-looking photograph as a, normal photo, landscape. And I don't know what the object is, and I understand they don't know the altitude of it. So once they figure that out, I'm sure they can eliminate certain possibilities. It is an interesting object, though, because it does seem to hover and change direction. So, like not a normal aircraft. Is it a drone? I don't know. I think it would have to be pretty big. But, are we looking at a light? There's a lot of different things that still need explaining.
Absolutely.
But it's very interesting.
I think it was
different.
I think it was a good first step. A very, very good first step. And
a great first step.
And you know what? The fact, what I like about this team is the fact that they have not, as excited as they are, they have not blown up. Oh, this is a UFO. We caught a UFO. Look what we caught. Support us. Do it. Give us $12.99 a month. Right? They haven't done that. What they're saying is,
it's refreshing.
What they're saying is, we caught something that we don't know what it is. And now this has opened up a bunch of different other issues that we now have to work on to perfect this system. And I like that about that. It's refreshing. I mean, have we ever had that in ufology?
It's been a while. Something like this with some new possible technology and a way to look at the sky and not have it go to their head. Yeah, it's refreshing. It's very, very rare.
Mm-hmm. Now, I was listening to your show, Goof on Radio on YouTube, and I encourage all of our listeners to hit that subscribe button for you. Okay, because I think you do an amazing show. But you mentioned something that I hadn't heard. You quoted a quote from Luis Elizondo from the To the Stars Academy. And I need to talk to you about that.
Okay.
All right. Do you mind? Do you still have that quote in front of you?
I believe I do.
Because I was looking for it. I was looking for it, and I didn't see it. Where did you get that quote?
Well, it's from Post-Disclosure World. He was quoting George Knapp's interview that he had with Elizondo. I could send it to you if you'd like, so you have it.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. But give us the quote here, because it's very, very interesting.
Okay. Well, Elizondo's talking to Knapp, and George, and I'm reading it exactly as it's written here and as it was said. George Knapp says, "The progress that's been made in 8 months is remarkable." Elizondo responds, "Yes, a little scary. I wouldn't have expected it to go this far, this fast. We're living in evolutionary times, so don't be Oh, I see okay, he didn't say that. So the last thing he said, yeah, a little scary. I wouldn't have expected it to go this far, this fast. And then it caps off with Post-Disclosure World commenting, we're living in evolutionary times, so don't be surprised if the UFO subject goes warp drive on us soon.
Well, you know what? It was the part that you read on your show in regards to the fact that he kind of regrets leaving his government job.
Yeah.
Is that what you expect from somebody in his position?
It depends, Dave. How passionate is he really about getting disclosure, or just what is he doing? Is he trying to get disclosure? Start it? If he's real passionate about it, then yeah, I could see somebody taking a pay cut, a significant pay cut. He's still getting, I'm sure, very good health benefits and whatnot. But some people say, and I don't know if it's true, that it's possible he's still on government payroll. But I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, that's kind of the tough part. You know, how I wanted to ask you, when did that quote come out?
June 3rd.
Okay, so just a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
Okay, the reason why I'm asking that is, you know, recently we've seen Chris Mellon from TTSA speaking out, and recently joining the MUFON advisory board. And now we hear Elizondo basically saying, you know, if I wanted to financially benefit from this, I would have stayed with my government job, with provided me health care and a pension and everything along those lines, rather than quitting. And I'm wondering, and maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just playing conspiracy theorist here, UFO conspiracy theorist, but I'm wondering now if there's some dissension among the ranks. What do you think?
No, I don't think so. I don't see it. Not with that conversation. No. They may be upset with the government, you know, but I don't know. Hello?
Hey.
You still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, something happened.
That was R Keith. That was R Keith messaging that he's available now for the time being.
Well, yeah, I never seen Skype turn all orange like that. It lets you. It really lets you know somebody's here.
Yeah, well, mine turned purple.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyways, Spaced Out Radio. Go ahead, Rich.
Yeah. No, I don't think there's any dissension or anything in the ranks. I don't see it. Why would you think that, though? Do you see it that way? Well,
I mean, and we'll bring Keith on here in a second. I kind of do. I kind of do right now. And I'll tell you why. Okay. With Chris Mellon branching out, getting a little bit closer to MUFON. Then you have Elizondo making the comments that he did just a couple of nights ago. It really makes me wonder, you know, we haven't seen the second season of the television show yet. It really makes me wonder if there is something going on and maybe there is trouble in UFO paradise.
I don't think so. The show has to do, I think, with COVID. A lot of shows didn't make it for whatever reason, but I thought it was done shooting and was really ready to go in March, you know, so that's what I remember, but maybe I'm wrong. But I thought, yeah, because last year it came out on May 29th, I believe.
Right.
So I thought, yeah, and they were supposed to relaunch season 2 around the end of May. So I figured it would have been 26th or whatever that last Friday was.
Well,
no, but I don't think that means there's anything going on. I mean, you could, like you said, think of it like maybe there's a little conspiracy, you know, thinking that way. Anything's possible, but I don't know, Dave. I just think everything's off kilter right now with the way the world is.
All right. Speaking of off kilter, Rich, you want to hang out with R Keith Andrews here and myself? Let's get into the
I
woo.
will be if you need me, let me know.
I would love you to hang on out. I'd love you to hang on
Cool.
out. Why not? Why not?
Thanks.
No problem.
All right, cool.
R Keith, how are you?
Well, annoyed with the world, but you know, that's me.
Yeah, well, we know. How's your sideburns doing? First and foremost, we need a sideburn update.
Well, as the saying goes, they're just kind of hanging around.
Oh, perfect. Now, R. Keith Andrews comes in, beginning of each month to talk about ETs, anything aliens and extraterrestrial. So if you're in one of our chat rooms or you are, just listening in, if you have a question, you could follow us on Twitter at #SpacedOutRadio. Please do me the favor, because it's easier for me to find, because I run like 5 chat rooms in Twitter at the same time while hosting the show. So I would really appreciate, if you don't mind, putting your questions in capital letters, and we will fire up Mr. R. Keith Andrews here as the ET connection continues. Keith, being a lifelong experiencer that you are, and someone who has had so much contact over the years, does it ever get tiresome for you to open so many different doors to this ET level and not get as many answers as you want?
It can be annoying, yeah, but not as frustrating as you might think. I have less trouble dealing with them than I do with the number of chat rooms you deal with.
Well, I can see that. I guess the reason why I'm asking is, what are you up to in species now? Like 45?
Oh, Lord, no. The first volume of the book came out at 59 races, and I think volume 2 right now has 30. It might have a few more. I'm not 100% certain.
Now, Rich, could you imagine being in contact with that many alien species?
I can't. I'm looking for one.
And Keith's work phone is calling again.
It's one of his friends.
It's one of the aliens. One of the aliens calling you. Hey,
don't
Keith.
talk.
He's like,
talk about me.
He's like, don't talk about me in public, brother. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. Rich, I'm actually going to change the topics here for a little bit while Keith is busy working. Keith actually is on shift at work until the top of the hour. So
okay.
There's going to be a little bit, but you're more than welcome, Rich, to hang out with us if you want. You can
Thanks.
hang out.
I'll hang out.
Because we kind of like you around here. We do.
I kind of like being liked.
Well, yeah. And I even gave you a thumbs up on your channel tonight. Okay, but changing the topic. I mean, you're a guy who is highly, highly critical, skeptical, and I would say very trite in his research, because you've seen it, you've done it, and you're tired of the. Why am I getting feedback all of a sudden? All right.
Oh, because I just turned the speaker back on and came back to bother you.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask Rich this question. Rich, thanks, Keith. Rich, you're somebody who has been very critical of the field of ufology, experiencers as well, and as someone who has filmed, what you consider very real UFOs, when you are trying to decipher whether or not someone who has experienced the real phenomena, how do you try and keep an open mind with critical thinking?
Can you ask me that question one more time?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I rarely do that, but yeah, I want to make sure I heard you.
Okay.
Right.
So I consider you a very good critical thinker in trying to figure out the difference between what is real and what is fake, who's telling the true stories of their contact, and who's just trying to get some television time. You have been doing this long enough to know, I think you're a very interesting and critical thinker when it comes to UFOs and the entire field of ufology. How do you, in your own research, try and find that balance between those who are telling you what happened to them and their own experiences, and compare that to what you know from what you've learned over the years? Where do you find the balance?
Well, that's it. The longer, see, a lot of people come into the field, I think, and they think after a year, they know everything, right? You know nothing. And then year 2, you didn't realize you could learn more about the field, meet different people, different stories, other things going on. You're having experiences. The longer you stay in it, the more it piles up. And I mean that in a good and bad way, but I hope and pray that these experiences, COVID, and I think if you have these experiences, it helps you, of course, with the research. So when you hear somebody talk about something that they've experienced, because I think if you don't go out there and try to do it, like boots on the ground is what we say, go out there, get in the field, meet people, go on ghost hunts, go on UFO hunts, try to, combine the two, because I think the two are connected somehow. But that's just me. But it's all through what you experience, man. I mean, just go out as much as you can. I was lucky for 4 straight years. I was able to go out there anytime I wanted, as long as I could, and I did. And it never got old, never got boring. Then people just have to do their own research, and that's it. And then when you start talking to people in year 5 and year 6 is when I think, man, I really think I'm starting to understand that there is something going on. This may not just be a hallucination in sleep or, sleep paralysis when people talk about abductions and things like that. There's too many things going on. And I think I've only gotten to the tip of the iceberg, if that. That's how much there is. There's so much to take in. You just got to do your own research.
All right. We're going to get into the questions with R Keith Andrews here when we come back from our break at the bottom of the hour, because we only have a minute left. And, once again, Keith is actually on his work shift. He works from home, and he's on his work shift until the top of the hour. So that's why little Richie G is out helping us out tonight. And he's going to hang out for the show as well as we try and get to the bottom of some of these ET stories. Remember, if you're in one of our chat rooms, or on Twitter at #SpacedOutRadio. Just do me the favor, put your questions in capital letters. I will get them to Keith as quickly as I possibly can, because, hey, we're all riding the woo train tonight. We're all kind of hanging out, doing our thing, and just waiting for our Keith Andrews to wind up and get this ball rolling. More Spaced Out Radio coming up right after the break here on the mighty SOR. Stay tuned for us. Boy, I timed that one out bad.
Yeah, well,
That was terrible. Oh, that was terrible. I had like 3 seconds of dead air. Terrible. You think I would learn how to read a clock? You think I would learn how to read a clock?
Yeah, God no.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, thank you, Grendel, Greco, Autopilot, and now Pleiadian Starseed for the super chat.
Hey, space travelers.
That's kind of cool.
John Resig.
That's kind of cool. Pleiadian, thank you. $20 super chat right there, Richie. Right there.
That's so, it's amazing.
It is. It's absolutely amazing. Thank you.
Perhaps I'm a little, but what pray tell is a $20 super chat?
Somebody donated $20 to the show. The beautiful, lovely, and talented Pleiadian Starseed.
Ah, perfect.
Yes. And she's a 1111. I don't know what that means, but it looks good on her. Hey, One Nobody Jerks, thanks for coming on out. Davin, great to have you here as well. Chris Mo, thanks for coming on in. Yes, I see your questions all starting to pile in. We will get them. Hey, everybody, Cable Guy Matt is here. Cable Guy Matt. You know what that means. You can pick up your free piece of autographed coaxial cable courtesy of Cable Guy Matt. Now, apparently he thought I needed about 19 of these. Okay. He's made 4,876 more. They are limits, one per household. You cannot buy these in stores, people. He will autograph each and every one of those pieces of cable for you. So hit up Cable Guy Matt today at cableguymatt.com. I don't know if he actually has that website, but if he doesn't, he should.
I got to grab a drink.
Yeah, that's all right. You go. You go. Yeah. Well, thank you, Pleiadian. That is plenty. Absolutely plenty. Much love to you, and thank you for being a big fan of this show. I really do appreciate it. Hey, McGolan, how are you? R Keith, what's happening, man?
Oh, trying to keep out of trouble.
Oh, good.
But I haven't been caught yet, but, you know. No, you asked me earlier if it was difficult keeping track of the different programs or different races. The thing we have to understand is I run into a lot of them all at the same time because of the situation up top.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it's kind of like running into a crowded hall of UN delegates, if you will.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to hit you up on that when we come back here.
Okie doke.
Hey, Nathan. Thanks for coming on out. I forgot to write you on my little notebook here, R Keith, so I'm writing you down right now. R Keith Andrews. R Keith Andrews. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I lost computer monitors today.
Yeah. Hey, Mystic, I want to give a shout out to you. First time in our chat room tonight. Thank you so much for joining us live. Really do appreciate you taking the time to check it on out. There's a lot of good people in our YouTube chat room. You know, just hang on out and have some fun and enjoy the night, man. Thank you for joining us. Hey, Big Cat, great to have you back. No, it is coaxial cable. It really is. It really is coaxial cable. And if you look here, you know, let's take this piece right here, for instance. You will see that Cable Guy Matt has autographed the coaxial cable. And I only know that this is real coaxial cable because my first job ever, I worked for a cable company, mowing lawns and cleaning up and everything like that. And I worked with a lot of cable. This is high potency coaxial cable, courtesy of Cable Guy Matt. And you can't buy these in stores, people. You cannot buy these in stores. So make sure that when you get your free piece of coax, that it says Cable Guy Matt on it. Right there. Hey, April. How you doing, gorgeous? Thank you for joining us tonight. Does Carl ever pull your hair when he probes you? Oh, that's such a third nipple crew kind of question. Oh, no. No, Barther. Okay. No. Hey, Science Bob, $5 super chat. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. Science Bob, everybody. Let's give Science Bob a round of applause for being the man, the myth, and the scientific legend. Gutter, for $1. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Wow. I feel special and honored tonight. This is fantastic.
You should always.
Just fantastic. I don't deserve this.
Appreciate it.
Don't deserve this, man. This is great.
I know, right?
Oh, D. McKenna.
Amazing.
Oh, my God. Coaxial cable. I'm so excited I could squirt.
Oh, no.
Oh, that. By the way, Richie, good job on Daniel tonight. Good job on him.
Oh, yeah, it was all right.
I hate him.
Thank you, though.
I hate that guy.
A lot of Spragueisms with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, he was, he bugged me. He just bugged me.
That whole thing. That whole thing is just wrong.
It is. It's completely wrong. Does Carl ever reach around and... No, he doesn't, Barther L. and the Third Nipple Crew. You're a sick, twisted man. You probably cheer for the Leafs. Oh. My goodness. All right. Final commercial here, everyone. Thank you to everybody already jumping in on the super chat tonight. Really do appreciate that. We got 91 watching live right now. Let's see if we can hit that like 140 mark tonight. I think we can. 140. Go share the show. Give us that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. And whatever that bell thing does, hit that too. Because I've been told that's good as well. Here you go with the second half hour of the mighty SOR. Limit putt, one per household, Chuckles. Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio. Tonight, I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate you taking the time out. Reminder to all of you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. Yeah. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio for the show, and my personal handle at Dave Scott SOR. R Keith Andrews comes in at the beginning of each month to hang out, talk aliens with us. Yes, we got the woo train rolling here as Keith comes in and hangs out and talks everything extraterrestrial. Keith, welcome back.
Well, thank you for having me.
And we got a special guest tonight hanging on out, little Richie G from Goof On Radio. And the reason why Richie's here is because not only is he a bright, shiny fellow in the field of ufology, he's got great eyebrows, fantastic mustache, high cheekbones, and he knows his UFO stuff as well. Goof On Radio stream on YouTube, so make sure you hit subscribe to that as well and check him on out. Keith, let's get to some questions here from our audience. We're going to start out with Joey in our SOR Space Travelers Club on our website. He goes, in 1876, in a town in Kentucky, it was reported meat fell from the sky. One scientist claimed that, like the asteroid belt, there is a cosmic meat belt. Keith, have you ever visited there, and do they have good hamburgers?
I've never even heard remote reference to it, to be frank. So, haven't got a clue, but I would not be holding my breath on meat being in an asteroid belt, or there being a meat belt, as it were. Unless you go to the grocery store.
Rich, have you ever heard of the meat belt?
I have never heard of it. That's the first time.
That is kind of cool. That is kind of cool.
I had another word for it.
Fake? Real? Barbecue? I don't know. I don't think the
Where is it now?
I don't think the vegans would do that. I don't think they'd like that at all either. I really don't. All right. Let's move on. Greco on Twitter is asking, Keith, what is the one big thing that aliens fear humanity will do without their intervention?
Oh, accidentally start an interstellar war that isn't already there, or worse, blow up a planet. And not necessarily this one. You see, mankind's curiosity and lack of forethought is the real problem.
Okay.
You couple that with mankind's proven greed levels, and there is virtually no limit that the off-worlders worry about on that end.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. It's a proven fact on Earth. If you take a laptop, for instance, you take something foreign that's high tech and drop it off with a bunch of Aboriginals or people that have no knowledge of technology, they will poke at it and push buttons until something happens. Right. Now, granted, if we're talking laptops, by the time they get finished poking around, you probably have to replace them. The problem is, if we're talking a laptop and you push buttons until it finally activates, there's no problem with it. If you're talking about a button on an interstellar starship with a planet buster cannon, there could be a very big problem.
All right. Well, let's move on here, and let's go to Chris Mo. And Rich, always feel free. You can jump in anytime you want, man. You can jump in anytime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
okay.
We like your mustache around here. Anyways, Chris Mo is asking, Keith, how much humans are edible, and does the quality increase throughout history?
All right, you want to run that by me just one more time?
How much of humans are edible, and does the quality increase throughout history?
No, actually, the quality has decreased rather drastically. But as far as how much is edible, under the right process, is 100%. The reality is humans are organic and therefore completely compostable.
Okay.
That's not the off-world's primary interest on the whole.
Is there a study that says that we're not as tasty as we used to be?
Think of the amount of poisons and toxins that mankind puts into their body on a daily basis now compared to what was there back in the days of the caveman.
Yeah, Twinkie has a lot of that stuff too, and I just love it.
Yes. And Twinkies are that one thing that you can have that will last forever and a day in a steel pack.
That's why I mentioned it.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on to Davin's question here. Was research easier before the internet due to less want to be instantly famous people?
Easier, not from my standpoint. But it took, well, I guess technically it was easier, but you have to filter out so much garbage now.
Very true.
Yeah, this is coming from somebody that doesn't bother researching.
Right. How about you, Rich? What do you think on that?
You're going to have to ask the question again.
Oh, my goodness. I already scrolled.
I know. I do it once a show now. I know.
I know. Shame on it. Was research easier before the internet due to less wannabe, instantly famous people?
No. It was, well, I don't know. I would imagine it would be harder. Less things to see, less things to analyze, less stories. The internet, it would make it much easier. Yeah, I only know of it through the internet. I just don't like it, fighting against all those fake people out there. So many of them, and people follow them, and I don't get it.
All right.
Anyway, it's easier.
Mystic, who's in our chat room for the first time tonight, thank you for that. He's asking, Keith, is Mount Olympus part of Mars's core? Why is it so tall?
Well, is Mount Olympus part of Mars's core? The answer is, I don't know what the topography is as far as humans go, what they call places. I'm presuming he's referring to the mountain from the Olympic gods type setup. Okay, and as for why a mountain is tall, well, that literally is a geological question, aka enough tectonic pressure, and you'll end up with this whole mountain.
All right. Let's move on to his second question. Do the ancient races help raise those up that want to better themselves? Example, a higher brain frequency, like what you did with the wall.
Like I did with the wall. I'm a little confused on that. But the answer to the question is yes, quite frankly, they will help, but they don't actually so much it's not like they tap in and go, okay, we're going to raise your brain frequency to make it easier. But what they do is they educate people and they guide people on the path to make that happen for themselves. It's kind of like building a car from their standpoint, if you look at it in that way, that if if a kid wants to have a car and wants to learn how to run a car properly, a real grease monkey will turn around, take them out to the garage and get them to build the car and get them to tune the engine to make it run better. Same idea.
Okay. I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
Well, think of it this way. They don't just all of a sudden crank your frequency up. It's not like they just plug in and increase your brain waves. What they do is they guide people to different exercises or different things they can do, different behavioral patterns that will, by their very nature, raise that person's individual brain frequency.
All right. Davin is wondering, what is the Black Knight satellite?
From my understanding, it's a highly specialized surveillance thing. But the thing is, it's not just targeting Earth. They're also looking for deeper out of orbit. Again, we're going into that funny little field of human technology, which is not my field.
Well, let's see if little Richie G has been following the Black Knight, because he likes some weirdo stuff like that. Little G?
Well, I know the Black Knight. There hasn't been anything new recently, has there?
No, it's still the mystery of what people
Yeah, some people... Well, the people from NASA saying it was a blanket that somehow wandered out of their grasp and is floating in orbit. I don't know. It doesn't look like a blanket, but I've seen different photographs that it looks like a blanket, and then I've seen other ones that it looks like a ship or a satellite. I hope it's a satellite. I really don't know anymore.
The question I'd have to ask is, what was NASA or anybody from NASA doing in outer space with a blanket? I mean, I realize it's cold out there, but I'm thinking a blanket isn't going to help a lot.
Well, I think it just got out of like storage compartment or something. I'm not quite sure. I don't remember. Yeah, I know. You're right. But they drop all sorts of things. Those gloves aren't real easy to work with. There's so many nuts and bolts and things floating around. It's scary.
Well, let's go to another question here. Nathan is asking, why are planet-killing weapons allowed to exist, Keith?
Well, because there are people out there that don't like entire races and therefore figured it was a good thing to build. I mean, you think about it. What the heck was it called? Why was anthrax built? Because some genius on Earth decided it was a good idea. But they subsequently get sort of derailed or banned, if you will. But as we all know, just because you ban a weapon does not mean it's not going to be used by somebody.
Well, there you go. Well, all right, we'll talk to you in a few minutes. R Keith Andrews is here for the ET Connection tonight on Spaced Out Radio. My thinking of the whole weaponry thing is, and Richie, this goes back to the 60s and 70s, where these UFOs were allegedly shutting down nuclear missile facilities and, preparing the launch buttons. We've heard all the rumors and stories and the conjecture around that. I'm telling you, I think they do it for fun, just to scare us. I really do.
It looks that way. It's like they're teaching us a lesson. Wasn't there that one case where it got all the way down to like 1 second? It was about to launch and then it went back to normal. Yeah, something like that. That's scary. And it was happening at several different locations. Yeah, they were having fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I
That's
mean,
what it seems like.
I mean, think about it though. How primitive would our weapons be to them?
Yeah, ridiculous.
Horrific.
If that's how a human thinks. But is that how an advanced alien would think? Maybe they've become so evolved and gotten away from violence through thousands of years. Maybe they don't even know what violence is until they come to a place like this.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I mean, but here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing that I don't understand. If they have the technology to travel light years through space to get here, all right, whether it's through wormholes or whatever, but they can get here, all right, how does it not add up to some people that they probably would have any type of answer for any type of primitive weapon we have? That's what I want to know.
They could easily take us out.
Exactly. And they haven't yet.
EMP, right?
And they haven't yet.
Why do you think? I'll tell you why I think, and I want to ask you, why do you think they would take us out? Because I think the only time they're gonna take us out is the day we're able to get off this planet and live on another one, or leave whatever, leave the solar system, maybe go interstellar, or we figure out light speed or warp engines or something. The thing is, I don't think they want us to leave. And I think that's what happens with all the past civilizations. They figured out a way to go off planet and wiped them out, or they let us leave. Yeah, if one leaves, you all got to go.
That could very much be. Could very much
be. It could be a lot of different things.
See,
what do you think?
I think that, in typical human fashion, we are calling them, or the majority of alien races out there, we are calling them, angry, bitter, spiteful, ugly, accusing them of being very, very violent. Look, I'm not putting down the fact that some people have had some horrific experiences with extraterrestrials. Lord knows I have in my own, and I know other people who have had some real nightmarish experiences. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but what I am saying is this. If they wanted to wipe us out, it would be easy. If they can dematerialize us to get us out of our home through concrete buildings in metropolises or in wood frame houses like I live in, and they can get us out that way, I'm pretty sure they have the technology to wipe us out. And yet they haven't. It doesn't make sense.
What would give them a reason to, though? Why? I think we're part of their creation, maybe. And as soon as we get too smart, maybe this is a game for them, maybe we're like pets, or it's just like a learning Sims type of game, maybe that's what we are. And when we see UFOs, they're coming in to correct things that are broken, or I don't know. You know what I mean? It's just, it's hard to imagine them not being here for thousands of years. I think they've been here for a long time. And I don't know, man. It's just weird. Civilizations come and go. What happens to them? What happened to the Mayans? Was it famine and they all died? Or
I don't know.
Were they taken away?
That's the big issue. That's the big question. $1 million question right there. I just think that if they were that bad, we'd all be dead by now. So this is why I get a little bit ticked off when I hear the government talking about these threats all the time.
Oh, I see what you're thinking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you thinking about? What do you think about that? Am I wrong?
I'm just thinking that no, I don't know. Because we could all be right and we could all be wrong. That's what's so frustrating. But if you want to try to think in a logical sense, like what would be the purpose of them to wipe us out or keep us alive? What would it be? Why would they keep us alive? They need us for what? I don't know, hybridization, maybe to go to other planets, have us populate the entire galaxy with us, or we're pets and they fix us up or they abduct us and make us live longer or shorter. They alter us, make sure we're okay. We get checkups, I think. I think some of us are tagged at birth.
Like implanted type tagged?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, something like that.
Or we're just or we're just the greatest television show that's ever happened on the planet, man. Or in the solar system. Because we got a lot of stuff going on. You have sex, drugs, rock and roll, war, conspiracies, political
bad
upheaval,
weather,
storms.
Right, yeah.
All right.
The Earth, to me, seems like a machine. It's amazing, the Earth, what it is. The core spinning creates this electromagnetic field through lava, and it gives us the mantle, the core, and then we have the surface, and we have volcanoes. It's like it's breathing. We have the hurricanes to cool the planet down. It's just amazing that I don't think we're living in a bubble. I think we're on a planet. And it may be bigger than what we know. Like, what's over in Antarctica? Why can't we go there? Yes, I know it's dangerous, but what's over there? Why isn't anybody telling us? Something's there. Something's buried.
What's bugging you about it, man? What's bugging you about Antarctica? I never think of Antarctica.
Oh, my God. I think about it all the time.
Why?
All the time. Every other day. Because I really think there's something in the ice. When Antarctica wasn't under ice and it was a lush paradise, as we've been told, I think there may have been civilizations and technology that may be buried, and we're finding out about it. Do you remember a couple of years ago when all these people went down there, heads of state, or I don't know, Putin went down there and Buzz Aldrin?
Yes.
Yeah, something was going on down there. I don't know. Why would Buzz Aldrin, Putin need to go to Antarctica? Because they found something. Maybe Bob Lazar's right. Maybe they found him in dig sites, archaeological finds.
I don't know about that, man. I don't know.
I don't either.
You know, Antarctica, I don't know. I don't know why it just doesn't. Maybe they found Megatron there. Just like the movie says. Maybe Megatron is there.
You know, they always leak, the truth out in these movies and in cartoons.
Oh, yes.
It's weird.
Oh, yes.
That Simpsons predictions, it's amazing how much they predicted in that show.
I hear you.
But they're just ideas coming from him. Or is he a time traveler? Or did somebody tell him? Oh, and then I watch Back to the Future and all the things about 9/11 that are in that movie. It's crazy.
It is crazy. We've only got about 1 minute here before we got to go to break at the top of the hour. R Keith Andrews, the ET Connection continues. Special guest Richie G hanging on out with us tonight while Keith finishes up his work night, as he's doing double duty tonight on his his nighttime job and with us. Richie, we got a question from Chocobo in the chat room. If aliens are so advanced and we are so primitive, why are UFOs attracted to nuclear bases? What's your thoughts, G?
Because they sense there's a power source there. Something major is going on. Some nuclear fusion is going on this planet. We're going to find out what it is. And that's what they're doing. And then I think, they maybe messed with us a little bit, turned it off and on just to see what would happen, what warning systems would go off. Maybe, I don't know. But that's why they would check that out, just like they check out volcanoes, and all sorts of things like that. Sorry about the loud motorcycles.
Is that motorcycles? It sounded like we're at a subway station. Next stop, Glendale. Anyways, we're going to take a break here at the top of the hour on Spaced Out Radio. R Keith Andrews, the ET Connection, continues. We will get to your questions coming up here right after the break. And little Richie G, if he wants, he can continue with us too, because we kind of like his company around here. especially when he's sporting such a power stash the way he is. Solid lip blade on Little Richie G. Make sure you join his Goof On Radio stream on YouTube as well. We'll be back with Hour 2 of Spaced Out Radio coming up right after this. All right, we're clear. Hi.
Hi. I think about Antarctica a lot and Mars. I don't know why. They both sing to me for some reason.
Oh, you watch too much Total Recall. Hey, I'm going to run my dogs outside. I'll be right back, okay?
See you tomorrow.
Give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most.
Well, not really, but we'll see.
To become a donor,
I know.
Radio's
You got it.
official charity, Chive Charity.
I'll say that to some people. I'll go, all right, see you tomorrow. And they go, I'm not going anywhere.
Donate.
I know, but Dave, you got it.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Fall. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else.
And
Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps.
Somehow,
sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother is watching.
Someone's mind, and they, maybe
hi there. This is the
some inventor lawyer, Michael or some scientist, and maybe they put the thought into their mind, and they create this new technology. Maybe that's how this stuff gets out.
I will be hosting.
Maybe they're putting it in our minds.
With topics that affect us all.
I never thought of that until now.
UFOs, ghosts,
that's pretty wild.
Everything paranormal.
I wonder.
Let's learn together on Spaced Out Radio
aliens
Sunday
implanting
with myself, Michael
thoughts
W. Hall, the paranormal
to
lawyer at
advance civilization,
spacedoutradio.com.
or maybe
we are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural
and they're sending
news,
it down to the crowd.
along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the
like
news outside the news that piques interest,
you think?
And that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
It's that simple, isn't it? See, I want everything to be.
Hey everyone, I'm John Edwards.
And I'm Stacey Edwards. Together, we're taking over Saturday nights on Spaced Out Radio, where we're going to bring our own experiences of the paranormal and talk to the best people we can find to help bring you answers to
paranormal events we hear and talk about every single day.
Woo!
No reason to make anything up.
So tune us in at spacedoutradio.com starting at 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, where we can all get a little
I'm not looking at the
Spaced Out
YouTube
Saturday
channel.
Nights right here at
I forgot to bring it up, so if you guys are saying anything, I'm not replying because of that reason alone.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Dave will
Why
be
not
back
get
after he walks his dog.
4
million Scoville units of pure hard rock.
Keith
Bumblefoot
Andrews.
hot sauces
He'll
come
be
in
back.
3 flavors. The burning Bumble.
I guess he's going to clock out of work
with Bumblicious and
come
throw
back
the
in 4
sauce on
minutes.
everything.
Spicing up. Bumble me, baby.
On the mighty SOR.
Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at Kajans.com.
Yeah, I was worried about these protests. There was a rumor going around on the internet that something was going to happen tonight after the sun
Our
goes
sales
down.
department is waiting to hear from you, and we can work around any budget.
Scares me.
From commercial spots to banners to special promotions, there are many opportunities to get your name and product out to our SOR listeners. For a price guide and more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
The party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Moose Vancouver just played, Richie.
That's cool. I was talking for about 2.5 minutes, and then I opened up the website and I heard the commercials playing. So I was talking over the commercials on YouTube. I didn't know. Usually you don't run commercials on YouTube.
Well, I don't if I got a couple guests chatting with each other, but I do when it's just.
I didn't know.
Yeah, that's just me. That's just me.
I understand.
Yeah, I know. Hi, Audra. Good to have you back. Is Keith still on his phone call?
He hasn't come back.
No. Oob, Joe's Maine. Oob. Joe's got aliens. You had a good show tonight, man. You did.
Thanks. Thank you very much. It's going to be changing quite a bit, though, in the next few weeks.
Yeah?
Yep. I think I'm going down to 1 or 2 shows a week, but doing those 10 to 15-minute videos. A couple of those.
Yeah?
Because, just isolate a topic and talk about it for 10 minutes, but do it with pizzazz.
So what happened with Tyler?
Well, apparently he has given in to the demands of Lion's Ground. Mm-hmm. And as long as Tyler doesn't try to hoax anything, make anything up, he will work with Lion's Ground to make Tyler a better man and make Secure Team a much better channel.
Really?
But I don't know the details. Yes. Yeah, it's embarrassing. Tyler just gave up. He looked like a beaten man. And then I think, well, maybe we're being played. Maybe the whole thing's an act from both of them. I don't know.
That's weird.
Can't trust them. Yeah, you can't trust either one of those guys.
Weird.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
We'll be doing a purging on Tyler next week on the show.
Oh my goodness.
I haven't done a purge in a long time.
It's come down to that, eh?
Yeah, I'm done. No more Tyler news unless it's a major, event. None of this little he said, she said stuff.
Right. Hi, Redheaded Lisa. Good to have you here tonight. Right. All right. Thank you to everybody who participated in the chat, super chat so far. Jules, Gutter, Science Bob, Pleiadian, Otto, Greco, and Grendel. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. We're going to kick off hour number 2 right now. Here's the music.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter @SpacedOutRadio. And on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio is underway tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate you taking the time. We welcome back everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates across North America and on the digital side on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. Remember, you can check out all of our archives for free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Proceliusmatic. Proceliusmatic is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. You can also follow us on Twitter @SpacedOutRadio and my personal handle @Dave Scott SOR. You should also follow @GoofOn Radio because Little Richie G likes followers as well. He's joining us tonight while R Keith Andrews finishes up his nighttime gig. Little Richie G, welcome back.
Thanks for having me back.
Oh, anytime. Anytime. You know, we enjoy some G time here. That's the kind of way we roll around here. Rich, I look at UFOs and I look at people who are posting a lot more on social media. They're posting a lot more videos and a lot more alleged pictures on this. At what point do we know whether or not people are being truthful right now? Because I think for a lot of people out there, Rich, they don't know the difference between something that is fake, something that is staged, and something that could be extremely anomalous.
Yeah, it's very difficult right now, even for seasoned veterans, to figure out what's real and what's fake. But it's not really as hard as you would think. You know what to look for. A fake video, even if it has a great story with it, it has a certain look. I can't explain it, but it's something the trained eye will notice. And people who are in editing and Photoshop, they could see the discrepancies in the pixels and how things are blurred and the motion and everything else on the video. It's remarkable what people can figure out. And thank goodness those people are around everywhere. It's not, I don't feel like it's just me anymore and a few guys. It's a ton of people out there. So we're getting smarter. We're catching up to the technology. So I don't think that's a bad thing. We got inundated with all these videos, and it took a while to figure it out. But yeah, we're getting better.
Okay, so for people who are out there trying to figure out, how do we tell whether or not these videos are real or fake? What are some clues that you have that you've been able to figure out?
One of the things there's a lot. I'll tell you two or three things. The first thing that a hoaxer likes to do is to show their skills. So they'll see an object in, let's just say something shiny out in the distance, and they always do this weird, they go out of focus for no reason. They're in focus, and then they go in and out. That's one thing. Another thing is nobody's talking. You're seeing a UFO and you're not narrating? How can you not narrate? How can you not tell us what the weather's like, where you are? What does it look like to the naked eye and all that stuff? So when you don't hear anything, that's a sign. Also, if you're watching this history on video and all of a sudden the video just ends, well, what happened? Nope, that's another sign. Another sign is music. When they put music in the background, what do you got to put music? You're recording history, supposedly. Why would you have music ruining the essence of a real UFO sighting? Those are a few.
Well, I get that, and I can see where that would be frustrating, because I don't know about you, but I do get a lot of people asking me, how do you tell with all these CGI videos out there? How do you tell what is real and what is fake? Because for a lot of people out there, they don't know. All right. They're just hopeful because they may have seen something in the sky that really affected them one way or another. And I feel for those people, Rich, because, they're good, honest people who just want to know some truth. You know what I'm saying? They just want to know that they are out there and that they're clinging on to anything to be believed about their experiences. You've talked to them. You've seen some of them. And yet, for many out there, it is a very, very difficult time, because this can affect people's psyche when you see something that you can't explain, whether it's through fear, through religion, through just your own paranoia or anxiety.
Well, that's kind of what I was saying earlier. We've come to the point now that automatically we already think it's CGI. So I hear about a video from a drone. If I hear that one more time, I'm going in there very skeptical. So I think people have heard, and the last decade especially, they keep, every time, it's just a regular person. If you just started today in ufology, you're going to see fake UFO, hoaxed UFO, figured this out UFO, another fake, another hoax, NASA hoaxes, well, I don't know if they do, but of course they do. Who we kidding? But either way, it's hard to figure it out. The only way you can do it is with longevity. Stay in the field if you're serious about wanting to know the truth. Get a camera, a real one, not your cell phone. Get a high 8 if you can. You can still buy them eBay and Amazon. So you can start with a high 8. Use your phone, but use a high 8. I always recommend both. But
high 8s are incredible. High 8s are incredible. If you're boots on the ground, you're going out there and you're trying, you can see what a plane looks like at 30,000 feet for once. When have you ever went outside casually looking for a plane at 30,000 feet? You don't. But maybe you will if you go out and skywatch. You'll learn what it looks like when it reflects, the sun near sunset. There's a lot of different things that people, they don't know because they don't know. And they're going by what's on the internet, and that's all they got. It's tough.
because everybody lies. It seems like it's very hard. Even if you typed in Google who to trust in ufology, it's not going to bring up somebody like me, or it won't even bring up anybody. I think maybe Nick Pope.
Oh,
but
yes.
I don't know.
Yes, the Brillo pad hairdo. The Brillo pad hairdo. You know what's fun? You know what? And I forgot to say this. The other night we had Grant Cameron on the show, and I forgot to mention this to him, but I was absolutely stunned when I tried to post his website, presidentialufos.com, on Facebook, and it got flagged as fake news.
Because of president and UFOs?
I guess so.
That's unreal.
Yeah.
So they're shadow banning him, basically.
Pretty much.
That's unreal.
Yeah. It was...
Can you dispute it?
I haven't... You know what? I forgot to talk to him about it, because when Grant gets talking, it's very difficult to interrupt and get anything in there edgewise. But I was stunned by that. So now I guess Facebook in their editorial ways are now blocking UFO websites. Maybe.
And they're accepting I can't remember the name. It leaves me. But that one guy who created 12 Facebook pages on fake paranormal stuff. It's all fake stuff. And that's allowed to be there. That's intentionally misleading people. Why is that allowed?
I have no idea. If we try and sit here and figure out Facebook, we will literally be here all night and all day tomorrow. I'm sure the audience will come and go, but nonetheless. All right, getting back to UFOs though. Rich, you talk a lot on your show about dots, orbs in the sky. All right. That could be anything from satellites. It could be anything, trickery of the eyes, metallic pieces of metal that are maybe shining off the sun, whatever it may be. All right. Could be UFOs. When someone looks up in the sky, how can they know if they're seeing a UFO or not? What should they be looking for?
Well, if they're equipped properly, they would have a pair of binoculars or a monocular, whatever you can, to get a very clear, distinct view of it first. And then determine with your binoculars, because it's not going to look the same through a video camera lens. It will look totally different. That's what they should do. Put the camera on a tripod, zoom in, don't touch it, stay off the UFO a little bit, give it some distance and perspective, use the correct setting for the time of day if you can, if you know how. Use the focus wheel, not autofocus. So there's a lot of things. And if you have an extension, a lens extension, or to enhance your optical zoom, get one of those. But yeah, it's not just going out one time, because one time it may not give you enough. You got to go out a lot and see if anything matches up to it. Now, if you happen to zoom in and the object's hovering and reversing and disappearing and reappearing, well, then you're making history. And that's the only way you could know. That's how you know. Different movements that aren't normal to what a airplane or a balloon would do. So there's a lot of things to look for, man. It's a lot to learn.
What's the best UFO footage you have caught personally?
Well, the UFO fleet. It is unbelievable. From December 12th, 2004, I saw an object in the sky, Dave, and then I saw these other flashes around it. So I had my camera out. My wife was near the doorway, and I zoom in, I have it on the tripod, and I see these objects just appearing and forming like constellations. It's a story that happened from the night before. It's really weird. This was like a connecting point for me when I was videotaping things, thinking that maybe these beings can actually hear our thoughts. That was the first experience I had, because the night before I quit ufology altogether because I wasn't seeing anything that I would consider UFO news. I was like, I want to see a fleet of UFOs. I want to see. Oh, I'm hearing an echo really bad.
Yeah, that's Keith. I think Keith is back.
Oh, yeah, here he is. And I want to see a fleet of UFOs, more than one. I want to see shapes like the constellation. I want proof they're aliens, and why are they here? So then next day when I went out, I videotaped it, and they formed a constellation like Orion's Belt and the Big Dipper, and then they formed a genie's lamp because the night before I was wishing. So I assumed that was a sign that they heard me wishing. And then the very last thing they formed was a question mark out of 9 orbs. And I videotaped it for 22 minutes, and they drifted off into the sun. But the weirdest thing about that sighting, you'd think that would be enough. Well, 5 years later, a friend of mine, we got a big screen TV. That's when they all started coming out, like really cheap. Put it on the big screen, and my friend goes, "Did you just see that?" And I said, "No, what?" He goes, "Rewind that. I want to see this part." We're looking at a part that I would call the air, like an airplane wing, which turned into Orion's Belt.
Mm-hmm.
The white objects had black objects off to the side, like they were mirror images of the white objects. Now, the weirdest thing is what caught his attention and then mine. The black objects moved independently from left to right, moved up behind other objects and exchanged positions. I would have never have noticed that ever if he didn't see it. Maybe if I was looking at it that way again, but it just blew me away. There was all these objects that were there, but I never saw them. And that has to be my favorite sighting.
All right.
I know it took a while.
We bring R Keith Andrews back in for the ET Connection. Keith, are you done work now?
I am. I'm completely off shift at this point.
Awesome. Greco is asking, as we continue the audience questions here, if I wanted to fight the biggest and baddest humanoid alien, who would that be?
Well, odd you should ask that. It depends on what you consider biggest and baddest. If we're talking the tallest that I'm aware of that is humanoid, you'd be looking at the Drakes. Okay, I think they're one of the worst. I mean, they are 15 feet tall, and you're pretty much hooped. You know, now on the other hand, if you're thinking one of the worst ones to fight with would be that are humanoid, well, a number of the elementals will take on humanoid form. Okay, but the Moldocs are one of the nastiest from the standpoint of technological combat. Because the Moldocs, to get an idea of what you're looking at, watch the movie Predator. Those things are real, and they are real hunters.
All right.
You know, so, I mean, there's a number of others that we could go after, but that's on one-on-one. If you're thinking in the way of society, don't tangle with the elephant. They'll tear you apart in a heartbeat.
Oh, isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Let's get to Davin's question here. Why do aliens abduct us when they could take a few hairs and clone as many of an individuals as they need?
Very hard to get sociological interpretation of interaction from a hair follicle. You cannot measure social interaction or communicative capacity or learning levels if you're only dealing with skin samples. That'd be the big reason. And as far as just cloning straight from just the cells, certainly you can, but without the human environment around it, that clone will not develop like a natural human.
Interesting. Why wouldn't it in this situation?
Well, because half of any race's interaction is because of social interaction. Whether it's because they're just sitting there in the same area and watching other people, or whether it's directly dealing with them. You take a look at even humans. A human raised in an Aboriginal society right, where there's completely no technology. Drop them into the middle of Vancouver, Toronto, LA, any one of the major so-called first world countries, right, in one of the major cities, they are completely lost. Because they've got no guidance. And if you're just cloning something as a dead slate, as a flat slate, as a blank slate with no instruction, well, buy a computer and don't put any program into the hard drive. And see how well that computer does anything.
All right.
Because that's what you're looking at.
Joe is asking, what do aliens have against cows?
Oddly enough, it's not what they have against cows. It's the other side of it. Okay, now you picture the number of cattle that have been mutilated, and you picture the outcry that people have over the cows being mutilated. Picture what would happen if the off-worlders were doing the same thing to humans. And just leaving the carcasses laying on the ground. Just picture what kind of panic that would cause on this planet.
My mind's blank.
Well, why wouldn't it cause a panic with the cows, since they're being, dissected so expertly?
Well, let's see. We have butcher shop, or not butcher shop, but we have slaughterhouses, and you don't see people throwing up and getting into absolute panic on the streets because of the cattle being killed the way they are in the butcher shop. People do not put the same social value on a cow as they do on people.
Yeah, kind of get desensitized, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it strikes really close to home when you find out your neighbor had their liver removed and they were left on the floor, on the ground, without it.
Ugh.
Yeah, it does paint kind of a gruesome picture.
All right, let's move on here. Davin is asking, do the aliens usually prod and probe abductees?
Usually is a little overstated. Most of it at this point, like originally, yes. And they certainly do take skin samples and what have you a lot of the time. But you got to remember, this place is a classroom in a lot of cases. So is there a lot of probing, a lot of poking around, a lot of taking samples and what have you, or taking measurements? Absolutely. Not the least of which is the endothermic readings. A lot of the scanning that they do picks up the information all in one shot, so they're doing a lot more than what it looks like. Like for instance, if they're taking a look at your eye, and I mean literally just scanning it with a light, they are likely pulling the optical acuity, checking the rods and cones in the eyeball's construction, checking nerve relay from the eyeball to the brain, as well as checking temperature, heart rate, and all of these things all at the same time. And this is just by running a light over them. What amounts to a light. So do they do a lot of the checking? Absolutely. They're scientists.
One way to put it. Are they really scientists, though?
Define scientist would have to be the first question I ask.
Well, that's what I'm asking you. You're my expert.
The way I look at it is this. Okay. Considering the hybridization program was designed by the Zeta Reticuli, aka the Greys, and that was done by years of research, and we're actually talking centuries of research on multiple different races, figuring out how they could do it, that would qualify from my standpoint of, are they scientists? Yes. Because the Greys, when you look at that program, that is literally what they're doing.
Right. All right, Keith. You hold on, Little Richie G. You hold on. R Keith Andrews, the ET Connection happens right after this with more of your questions on Spaced Out Radio. All right, there we go. A little bit of Keith action there. A little bit of Keith action.
Could not put the last call in.
What do you say there, G?
I'm sorry, I didn't know you were going to ask me something right there.
Well, you know, excuse me. Okay, don't ask any questions on YouTube right now until later on in the show, until we get back, because most likely the questions from Mystic on down, Mystic, Andrew, Corrance, Joe, Andrew again, Garance. With the amount of chatting that goes on, we may miss those, or the chat room will scroll on up and we'll end up not being able to recover them. Oh, excuse me. So
best you can.
Oh man,
they understand.
My hit.
Oh, this.
Yeah. Thank you, Richie.
This one been.
What's that, brother?
That's what I'm here for.
I said this one has been a butcher job today, as far as you know, as far as my time today goes.
Oh,
it was dead all.
Well, it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. We got the G here to rescue us.
Don't worry about it.
His favorite friend, his name is Daniel.
Daniel T. Horson.
Daniel Thorson.
Daniel T. Horson.
I want to hit him.
Horson.
I still want to hit him.
I think that might be classified as being rude and antisocial, but, you know, not bad.
No, I want to hit this guy.
I take it he's not a nice guy.
Oh.
He's the worst.
He
might be. No, he's not as worse as Sprague. Not as bad as Sprague. Gave him a run for his money, though.
Oh, yeah. So what happened, Keith? This guy goes on a 75-day retreat into some Buddhist silence camp, and then he comes out on Twitter saying that the entire world has changed before his eyes, and he can't believe it. He can't believe it happened to him. Where did the world go?
And he went in March.
Yeah. It's such.
Okay, apparently when he went in, he left his brain there.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've been asking what happened to the world myself, but I haven't gone into any more seclusion than it was before.
He was talking, he couldn't believe the expanse of COVID-19. And in the meantime, right before he went into the Buddhist camp, he was tweeting about COVID-19. And here he was acting like he knew barely anything about it. And this guy got a story written about him in the New York Times.
Well, the New York Times had an idea. I mean, pardon me, but, you know, frankly, what they call mainstream media does not impress me.
No. Did it used to?
No. Honestly, I have not been impressed with the media, with media reporting and what have you in decades. This is one of the reasons I quit dealing with it.
I agree with that. It's deteriorated. It's awful right now.
I mean, unfortunately, what I find is, like, even with accidents I've personally been witness to, I've seen the reports come back with the only thing accurate was the location.
Jeez.
You know, I mean, and to me, that's just appalling, and they call themselves professionals. You know.
I hear you.
Well, that's the learning curve that we've been on this last decade with UFO videos, ghost videos, all this evidence in even news. We understand how it works.
Curve, only I haven't seen any learning.
Not from them. They just get worse. but the general public seems to understand it more, which is part of the protest. We're just sick of being, manipulated by the media, by the police.
Well, here's the thing. The reality is this, and the scientists and people know this. The bad things do happen, but if you are only putting out if you put out only the negative stuff on the front page, okay, that is what gets replicated. That's just the sad reality.
Yeah, that's right.
They know that if you and they also know that when you're dealing with the UFOs and what have you, a UFO by definition is an unidentified flying object. Okay, it's unidentified. That's what makes a UFO. This is why a lot of the time I can't report a UFO. I'll take a look at it and go, yeah, I know what that is.
Right. Yeah. But you could have somebody right next to you who doesn't know what it is, and they'll think it's a UFO, have a different experience. I've had that happen so many times. I couldn't be friends with those people anymore.
Oh, no.
I couldn't, Dave.
You'd have to. Have to hurt them. Throw them in the garbage.
This is why I get along as well as I do with my best friend. He happens to be a clinical paranoid schizophrenic. We get along fine, but
Which one of them?
No, not MPD.
Okay. Hey guys, hold on. We're gonna go to break here, or come on a break here, momentarily. So. I want to say thank you to everybody who participated in the super chat tonight. If you are one of the lucky people listening tonight and you haven't come into our chat room to say hello, why not? Come visit us. Come say hello to old Uncle Davey here. We'd love to say hi to you back. Here we go with the second half of the show right now. We passed the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Great to have each and every one of you with us. We want to remind you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Got a couple of Twitter handles for you to follow. The show at Spaced Out Radio and my personal handle at Dave Scott SOR. We rejoin R Keith Andrews and the ET Connection as Keith comes in once a month to break down all of your extraterrestrial questions. And we got a special guest tonight, Little Richie G from Goof On Radio. Give his channel a like on YouTube as well, I'm sure, and I'm positive you will enjoy it. He's the man of 1,000 voices as well. Guys, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much.
Great to be back.
Back to everybody else.
Nice to have you here. All right, let's get to the questions here. Greco on Twitter is asking, why wouldn't it be better to watch the interaction between a human and an alien?
Why wouldn't it be? Well, I fail to understand that question. What do you mean, why wouldn't it be better than what? And for who?
Well, who would it be better for?
Well, if you talk to some of the aliens, it'd be great to drop a few real well-seasoned aliens down here and see how society handles it. But the reality is they're trying to understand human culture in order to be able to interact with them a little bit more effectively. And given the diversity of human culture, that's the biggest problem you have, because you got to come to understand the way that humans deal with each other and why, before you try and figure out how they're before you've got anything to quantify how they deal with off-worlders.
All right. Another question from Greco. Is it possible for humans to swap consciousness with an alien? If so, how?
Technically, the answer is yes, but the odds of it happening are limited. The how is through an electric, we'll try that in English. Well, maybe not. But It's basically done through electroencephalographic transference, meaning they match the brainwave of the brain's biochemical signature with, no, not just biochemical, the magnetic signature. It's a complete comparison, trying to match the way the human brain is built to the way that an off-worlder's brain is built. 90% of the time, that flash fries the entire circuitry of the human brain, because your currents are way offline. So technically, is it possible? Yes. The odds of it working, not good.
All right. Let's move on here. Mystic is asking, are there other versions of the consortium for different superclusters around the universe?
There are different versions of it. Not exactly, but there are smaller groups, smaller governing bodies handling different sectors. For instance, the ones that handle the locals that handle the Terran sector, right in this area, is one group. When you go over, if you head over to, for instance, Zeta Reticuli, okay, when you take a look at that sector, they've got a different group of people operating that. If you will, it's along the lines of different countries, different governments. But understanding they all have one ruling government.
All right. Andrew is asking, why do the aliens put the cows back?
Well, partially because they don't, for the most part, and you'll love this one, because they don't seem to eat a whole lot of beef. They don't need all of it, but it does let them get a better look at the fauna, the flora and the fauna, by picking them up and pulling out specific organs. But it depends entirely on what they're looking for, which may be the other part of the problem. Wow. You can bet one thing for certain. The ones that are picking up the cattle are not full-blown carnivores.
All right, let's go over to Elgab, where Tiger Lily is asking, do you remember Oumuamua? Was it an alien spaceship? And if so, from where? And what was the purpose? What did it come here for?
Well, we'd have to start with the first part, which is, I'm presuming we're referring to a Hawaiian base.
No, that's the name of the object that was found coming into our solar system and passing by Earth a couple of years ago. We had talked about it before.
Yeah, okay. Don't mind me. My memory is lax at best where it comes to a lot of things. But first and foremost, that was a, as far as I understand it, a very long range scanner ship. My understanding is, I'm just trying to remember where, the other side of the Orion Belt. But it was literally a long range scanner run, just to get an idea. Now, exactly which race, I do not know offhand.
All right. April is wondering, how do you get rid of a watcher?
Well, I found when I told him I knew he was there, it kind of eliminated the idea of watching. And quite literally, that is the way to do it. As soon as they know that they've been spotted, they can no longer watch, because what they're supposed to do is watch, unless they shift their mandate, if you will, because a watcher comes in to observe without affecting the environment. If they are aware they're spotted, the environment by nature automatically shifts, and they can no longer do that. They'll no longer get untainted information.
Right.
So basically, let them know you saw them.
All right. Let's move over to Joe. What do you know about what's happening on Antarctica?
Well, I don't know. In fairness, I don't know what they've done because I haven't been watching the news, but I can tell you what they will find.
Sure.
Underneath the ice pack near the center of Antarctica, they will end up finding a buried civilization there. Okay, one that was there way before today, for obvious reasons. I mean, we're talking about something buried in the ice. But they will also find a secondary access point to if you will, the Hollow Earth. But that's right smack in the middle of the city, so now exactly what they've come across at this point, as I don't follow what they're doing. I don't actually follow what Terrans are doing, not from a news standpoint anyway. I can tell you they're in for a bit of a shock because they will find evidence of of an ancient language there that they, at this point, don't recognize.
All right. Let's see where we go from here. Crispo is asking, will the consortium allow the Gateway station orbiting the moon?
Absolutely. It's not going to damage the planet. Actually, it's funny because the station what they're working on, I'm presuming that he's referring to the one that is being built up there. In order for mankind to effectively get into interstellar travel and join the consortium, they require that base. And so I really can't see them turning against it. The only thing that would cause a problem is if mankind were to try and turn it into a weapons platform.
We're good at that.
Actually, you're really not. Humans think they're good at it, but they really are not that good at weapons. Yeah, I know. That's going to spark all kinds of people going, we build all kinds of good weapons. They haven't seen the ones I have.
All right, let's move on here on Spaced Out Radio. We have R Keith Andrews here tonight with the ET Connection. Special guest Little Richie G from Goof On as well. PBR, otherwise known as Peanut Butter Rolls around here, is asking if you know any alien languages.
I do, but the problem with it is trying to replicate them. The other problem, of course, and I actually had that asked of me a number of years ago on another station. It didn't go over well, but I tend to refer to something that I've always called Pangalactan, which boils down to an intergalactic trade language.
Can you give us a sample?
Wow. As I said, little hard.
Richie, what's your thoughts? Can you talk alien too, Rich?
That's uh-oh.
I got that. What do you think of that, Keith?
See?
I thought it was cute.
I thought so too.
It was.
Don't take that wrong, but
well, I'm learning. It's like Chinese to me.
Ultimately, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, the reality of it is, what's the other? Just got to do something here. Also known as taking a drink so I can actually get my throat to work. I don't know if you can hear it, but
move closer.
I don't think you can hear it.
Move closer to your microphone. I know
that is not done with the tongue on the top of the mouth. That's the problem.
I know that sound.
It's the base of the throat.
That's the sound that was Richie. Do you remember the story I told you about Carl and his buddies chatting in my backyard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's what I thought of. Yeah.
That's the sound they were making.
Okay. Ugh.
That's the grays. That comes from Zeta Reticuli. But it is a little tricky to work with because it's not done. People have tried replicating it by clicking their tongue. And clicking your tongue when you're talking to using the tongue at the top of the mouth would be it would be taken very similar to walking into a really high class, real high society, human society, and talking like a backwoods redneck. It's just not going to be accepted all that well. And I personally have nothing against backwoods people. But it's the best example I can give you on that note.
Can I ask Keith a question?
Oh, of course you can, Richie, when you ask so politely like that.
All right, I appreciate it. So, what do you think about the way the movie Arrival figured out how to communicate with the way the aliens did it? Is that a real kind of species that talks that way?
Oh, it's an absolutely real species, and they literally talk that way. I forget who the author was, like who the director was for that movie, but I can tell you and those people are absolutely in contact with these people.
That's why they got it. Yeah, it was so detailed. It was brilliant.
Oh, it is. I'm just looking here. See, I keep because I've got so many names running through my head. It's always fun trying to figure out which one fits where. Yeah, that race that was in the Arrival, that race is the Udina, and that is literally how they communicate. The hardest part with their communication is that they do not communicate in past, present, and future. There is no sense of term for that. But the way they laid out the language, that is really kind of novel when you think about it, because that is done on and the one problem with it, the only problem that they had with it was they laid it out as a two-dimensional pictograph. They don't write in 2 dimensions, they write in 3. Their whole written language is done in bubbles, which means you're looking at not only the formation of the ring, but you're looking at, like, you remember how the rings overlapped?
Yeah.
Well, the way the rings overlap and the amount they overlap is also part of it. Okay, but trying to do that on a 2-dimensional screen is almost impossible. Although technology, not bad.
It's all different levels.
Absolutely. It's what's called triphasic writing.
All right. Lee A wants to know, Keith, can you speak or write light languages?
Well, the answer to speak them, technically the answer would be yes. Can I replicate them for human eyes? No. I mean, there are a few humans that I can. Okay, because there are a few humans that clearly see auras, which is really how that works. So can I understand it? Can I pick it up? Yes. Do I technically see it as far as using my optic nerve? No. But then my optic nerve is not what I use to pick that stuff up with anyway.
Derek wants to know if aliens eat breakfast for dinner.
That depends entirely on who the guy was.
Oh, sounds dangerous.
But, well, I mean, the reality is breakfast itself literally means break fast. So, if you take a look at that, then they would, depending on when the day is, they may. Okay, even in my household, there is no set what the meal consists of. Breakfast is simply the first meal of the day. Okay, and in many cultures, daytime and nighttime are done on a digital clock more than anything else, because out in space, you don't have a lot of sunrises. At least not that are consistent.
True. All right, moving on here, and I disagree with you on that, because nobody should eat bacon and eggs for dinner. or pancakes. Okay. Nobody should. It's breakfast.
Okay, I eat spaghetti breakfast, so I'm okay.
Yeah, well, you're a weird one, like the majority of them. Anyways, Gary is asking, Keith, what do you think of Corey Goode, and do you believe in reverse age regression?
Well, we have one small. Somebody better give me an update on who Corey Goode is.
I'll leave that to little Richie G. He's good with that.
I'm sorry. You're going to have to repeat that. I'm sorry. I wasn't listening.
That's like the fourth time.
Second time. Keith did it once. 3 total.
Would you break down for our Keith, your buddy Corey Goode?
Oh, really? Wow, I didn't think that was the question.
Well, they asked me what I thought of him. I don't even know who the guy is.
Oh, then it don't matter. It's all moot. He's a plagiarizing, fake secret space guy, has no proof of anything.
So he's human.
Yes, he's very human. Says he's, been to Mars and back several times, age regressed.
Well, let me put it this way. Age regression, if we are talking about the hypnotherapeutic method of going back and looking at your age, then the answer is very easy. And it's very easy if you know how to do it, but very possible. If you're referring to physical age regression, not a snowball's prairie and guess where? Okay, it just does not happen because you cannot go back in time. Okay, and that's really hard to explain because so many people decide that you can, but no. So physical age regression, no. You can certainly repair elasticity of cells and response time of the nervous system, but you will not get younger. See, I mean, think about the practicality of it. If you regress somebody properly in age, you're not only dropping their mind back, but their entire physiological configuration has to be reduced. And I have no interest in being under 2 feet tall again. Although I'm working on it, I think. As in, I used to be 5'10 and a half, I'm down to 5'8. But no, this idea of physically regenerating themselves, being reversed to a younger version of themselves, not going to happen.
Let's move forward here on Spaced Out Radio. We got about a minute and a half here before we got to go to break. And I'm going to sneak in a question here from Leah, who is asking, have you ever met a Bigfoot while astral traveling, Keith? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, number one, yes. Much more importantly to me was when I ran into them in person. But yes, I've run into them astral traveling, but then I know where to look for them astral traveling. By the way, they are not astral travelers. They live in the physical world.
They're interdimensional.
What's the magic? Why can't I do it? And I've been meditating for years.
Because you think it's difficult, actually, is the biggest problem.
No, I don't.
Let me ask you this. Have you ever had a dream where you were flying with no aerial conveyance?
Many times.
You're astral traveling.
But how do I put myself into that situation if I want to do it every day? Like some people claim they can,
That one I'll be happy to explain to you, but I don't think Dave wants me to go into that right at this point on the show.
Okay. I didn't know how in-depth it was going to be, the answer.
It's majorly in-depth, man. Majorly in-depth.
Skim, all I need is crib notes. I'll figure it out.
Well, you're a crib note kind of guy. You're a crib note kind of guy.
I am a crib note kind of guy.
Keith? Well, Keith, I'm going to get you to hold on. Little Richie G, you hold on. Because we are going to go to break here at the top of the hour. Yes, the ET Connection continues with R Keith Andrews. and our special guest tonight, Little Richie G on Spaced Out Radio. We have them for another 30 minutes here on the show before we get to the Thought of the Dave and the SOR Newswire. So stay tuned. More Spaced Out Radio coming up right after this. All right, commercials off. You guys talk away. I'm going to run my dogs out.
Okay. In a nutshell, the trick is find a place to sit when you're comfortable. Okay, do it when you're wide awake, not when you're sleeping. Because if you're already tired and you try this, you'll pass out, you'll have a great night's sleep, but you won't get to do any functional travel. Okay. Once you're in a comfortable position, feel your heartbeat. Concentrate on just your heartbeat. Without putting your hand to your pulse. Okay, I mean, just feel for the heart beating in your chest.
Yeah.
Okay. Once you can feel that, track that pulse as far as you can. You can get out to your fingertips, out to your toes. But it gives you something to concentrate on to lower everything and to lower your perception of the rest of the world. At some point, and I cannot tell you when, at some point, you'll feel that whole sensation where your eyesight will shift. And I mean, we're doing this with your eyes closed, so it will certainly look funny, right?
Yeah.
As soon as it starts to shift, you'll likely feel a little disoriented. The problem is, the second that happens, most people tend to pull themselves back in because it's an unfamiliar feeling. Okay, but if you can stay with that, if you can stay focused on the idea of, okay, it's feeling a little disorienting, but I'm going to go with it, you'll get to a point where all of a sudden you feel like you're floating. Now, you may or may not be able to see your body. It depends on which way you come out. Okay, I usually don't look for my body. Okay, but then I didn't really care. When you get out, then you can float where you will. It's done purely by will where you go.
We'll stop right there. Then let me tell you this then, because when I was very young, 6 years old, I would close my eyes and not move a muscle, and I would not feel the couch anymore. Well, that's kind of what happens to me when I would do this. I'm very, very good at putting myself into that 60 beats per minute, type of situation, where I'm meditating and I could hear my blood flowing in my ears, When I close my eyes, I see flashes of light at first, like my brain has to shut off or something. Sometimes it's hard to keep my eyes closed, but once that settles down, I have never got to the point where I see anything. And I've done it exactly how you're explaining it, how I learned and how people told me to do it. But why can't I break that barrier? And I want to. Believe me, I believe in it to a point, but why can't I? Is it just, are you imagining this in your mind and it's just daydreaming? Is that what you're doing?
I would love to say it is. But
because that's like the law of attraction is what you're doing, because you're going to create. Okay, I'll be quiet. That's another subject. But
ultimately, you're on the right track. Imagination is the key.
Okay.
It's a little hard to qualify it as just your imagination once it starts having other effects.
What's the trigger, though? What gets you to that where you don't feel anything? Because I get to the point where I'm floating, but I can't see me.
Well, in all fairness, the reason you're having trouble seeing you is you're looking forward.
Yeah, I am. You're right.
Well, that's the problem.
Well, how do I do it?
Turn around.
I never thought of that.
Yeah.
But also I don't understand, because even though everything's black and I'm in this meditation, this zone, right? I'm really deep. I don't ever see anything or visualize to the point where I would turn around. I don't even get that far.
Okay, here's the problem.
I don't get out of the black.
In a nutshell, that's your biggest problem. The first problem is the astral plane isn't black. Okay, what you're at is that jump point. You're getting to the floating point. But have you ever seen people trying to ride a roller coaster and they keep their eyes closed while they're on it?
Yeah.
You're doing that.
Yeah.
It's that fear of the unknown that keeps your eyeballs closed. Net result, and in this case, we're talking your third eye.
Yeah.
Okay, net result is you're hiding from yourself. But if you hold your hand up right in front of you right now, right, and just look at it.
Yeah.
Do you see that film around the outside of the hand?
No, I just know that I'm not focused on it, so it's a little bit distorted because I'm not focused on it.
And what you're doing, okay, let me ask you this. When it's a little distorted, is it looking like a double image or is it looking like an overlay?
It looks like a 2D image.
No, I don't mean 2D. I mean...
Yeah, I know, but that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah. Trying to figure out how to explain it. See, the real crib notes to it is forget you don't know how. And I know that sounds way too simple, but that's the reality behind how it's done.
But I understand that. I understand to forget. I do, because I have to do it in sales. Anytime I start a new job, I have to relearn. So I've gotten very good at starting over from scratch and letting the ego go and all that. No, I get it. I'm open to that, but I really don't know how to see. And no matter what you tell me, it's not going to work. I've tried it for 15 years.
And right there's your major critical. That's the critical. Right.
Yeah, but I didn't start off that way. I'm very, very good at creating my own future, by the law of attraction, creating good and bad. Very good at manifesting things. I just don't do it consistently enough for it to matter.
Yeah, I know that feeling. But no, the moment you come up with that, even that fleeting thought of I can't ever do it, right there you're crippling yourself.
Well, because the first 5 years of doing it, it didn't work. So I gave up.
I understand where the problem came from. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
I understand entirely how the problem came in.
I just want to understand what you guys do. That's it. I want to understand it. I want to be a part of it. And
now, even trying, I find it very difficult to explain what I do a lot of the time.
40 seconds, guys.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The reason I have trouble with it is because the way to explain it requires giving you a crash course in quite literally the quantum magnetic flux, aka the interaction between the cell structures of the entire universe.
All right, boys, got to cut it there. I was listening in. When I took my dog outside, I got in a little conversation with a tree frog that was jumping through my carport.
Oh.
I kind of like them. I really like the tree frogs. Thank you to everybody on the Super Chat. 102 people here. Chihiro, welcome to Spaced Out Radio. Here we go with Hour 3, everybody.
For all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Here we go with the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for joining us. We want to welcome everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates across North America and on Revolution Radio and TalkStream Live digitally. On YouTube, thank you so much if you're tuning in our chat room. And you can check out all of our archives there for free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Procelismatic. Procelismatic is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio for the show, and my personal handle at Dave Scott SOR. For the final time tonight, we introduce R Keith Andrews and the ET Connection. Keith comes in at the beginning of each month to break down everything extraterrestrial for you, and we have a lot of fun doing it. We are joined by special guest as well, Little Richie G from Goof On Radio, so make sure you hit subscribe on his YouTube channel as well. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. Otherwise I'd just be sitting here bored, hanging on out.
Okay.
Hanging on out. That's what it's all about.
Better hobby.
Yes. All right. Joe is asking, will pointing a laser pointer at the night sky attract aliens, Keith?
From what I've seen, no, but I hear a lot of reports that they do. I mean, you got to realize that that's kind of like trying to spot a specific snowflake in the middle of a snowstorm. You know, it's just they are not powerful enough, from my understanding, for it to work. You know, and besides that, there's enough other things to get their attention. They are more likely to pick you up on a thought pattern than they are on an optical one.
What's your thoughts on that, little Richie G?
You know, it depends how far away that UFO is, I would imagine. You know? He's right, though. Yeah, I know. But in the grand scheme of things, they're useless. In fog, I mean, they're really nice. You can write your name in fog. But they're not really good for anything.
No, I love people that tell me they take a lighter and take a laser pointer and that's what they use. I mean, I'm thinking, you know, it'd be nice.
You know what's good about them though? I've got two different colors. Is you can point at the sky if you're with somebody and say, "Look over here." It is helpful that way.
Only if you can see the laser yourself, the laser yourself.
Well, sure, yeah. I got some powerful ones.
Yeah.
Send me one. I want to try that laser thing.
Yeah, all right.
Just don't look directly into it.
No.
You can pop a balloon with this and light a match.
Seriously, I'm dead serious about that. I want a laser.
Yeah.
I've been looking for them, and I can't find one that I want around here. How many you got? 2, 3, 5?
I used to have 3. One I dropped. I have 2 now and broke it.
Oh, yeah.
You,
you can't send me one. Then you need those.
I wish you could get somebody to send me a hellbore laser, but, you know, so far, no luck.
All right, let's continue on here with the questions. Nathan is asking, can time be slowed down for one person but remain in the same time stream as surroundings? Keith?
In a sense, the answer is yes. It's not so much you slowing time down as you're speeding your own time up. It's a question of speeding up vibratory rates. And yes, that can absolutely be modified. But you're still moving forward. So I love the way you put it as slowing it down. You're basically simply accelerating yourself.
Well, the weird thing is we understand it when somebody says, man, today was a long day. And then you have a day where it feels like it flew by.
Yep.
That to me is, I guess it depends on what you're doing. But if you're doing the same thing every day and one day just feels slow, is it because you just feel different or is it really slowing down in your own little universe?
That depends. Okay, that's sort of a combination. If whatever you're doing is extremely boring, it just simply feels like it's dragging. But there are times when you can accelerate the speed you're traveling or the speed you're doing something because you're feeling pressed for time, and you automatically start going, "I gotta get this done." You know, and I just don't have time, but I gotta get this done in this amount of time. And what happens is you accelerate the speed that you're reacting. So what ends up occurring is you get more accomplished in that time.
Like athletes? What's that?
Very much like athletes.
Yeah, they get in the zone and they said, nothing I could have done, I couldn't have missed. Everything felt right. It's really weird, that feeling. We all have it once in a while.
Same thing that happens in accidents.
Yeah, I was just going to say that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? I heard it's because the body's going into a defense mode and it slows things down so you could react.
Well, sort of, but what it does actually is speeds things up.
Oh, wow, really? I don't buy how.
I can give you an old movie that you can watch that actually explains it really nicely.
Okay.
Okay, and you got to understand, it was done back in the 60s. It was a movie called Billy, Billie, starring Patty Duke Aston.
Okay.
Okay. But ultimately what it does is when you put that mindset in motion, that you've got to get things, you've got to move faster, or you've got to make that particular hit, everything slows down to the point that you can. It seems to slow down because you're moving faster.
Okay, I get it. Yep. I don't know why, but now I got it. I understand.
Okay.
But why? I know it's an adrenaline rush, right?
It's not an adrenaline rush.
It's not an adrenaline thing to your brain or anything?
No, it's not. It's something else. It's got the same idea. But see, an adrenaline rush causes the heart to accelerate.
Okay.
What you're talking about is temporal flux. Okay, you're literally modifying your interaction on the temporal line, but you're not altering the temporal line. You're still moving forward.
Does anybody else notice this about you, or not really?
Sometimes. Have you ever been in a situation where you were talking to somebody and then the next thing they notice is you're on the other side of the room? Okay.
Yeah.
And the reason that happens is all of a sudden you've decided you had to go and do something. You went over there so quick, they didn't see the transition. And then all of a sudden you're on the other side of the room, or watch somebody else do that.
Yeah.
Okay. One moment you're talking to them, the next moment they're on the other side of the room, and you're going like, when did that happen?
Well, that's only because of the situation. I looked away and somebody walked in between us. I didn't see her move.
And that is exactly how people manage to, how they manage to explain it in their own minds 99% of the time.
Huh.
And it works for an explanation. It just doesn't work for the actual, if you will, the science of it.
That's wild.
All right, let's move on here for a second, guys. Corrins is asking, Keith, is alien coffee strong like it is in Greece or Turkey? And yes, I have had their coffees.
It's okay, I haven't. I like mine weaker. Yeah, there are some coffee. If you want to try really, really, really rough coffee, you should try quite literally dwarven coffee. If you think campfire coffee is rough, try theirs. But yeah, some of the off-worlders have their version of coffee that is a whole lot harsher than what human coffee is. And it, quite frankly, like I've seen some drinks like that literally, because of the acid content in the drink, will literally dissolve a Terran spoon. By the way, I don't recommend drinking a drink like that.
Well, you haven't tried half the hot sauce I've tried.
I'm talking, I know, you're right, I haven't. But then I'm not overly fond of hot sauce.
Oh, I am. I put it on everything. I had lots of hot. I had hot sauce for my breakfast wrap this morning. I had hot sauce in my dinner. You know what's good? Naan bread with hot sauce, rice, and Caesar salad dressing. It's good stuff.
Did you say naan?
Naan bread.
Naan.
N-A-A-N. Naan bread, naan bread.
Ah, that's why. Okay. Don't mind me. Naan bread, I'm thinking meat.
No.
Like no bread.
All right, follow-up question from Corrins here. Do aliens on the moon use our leftover space program parts on there for their museums?
Sometimes. Not just on the moon, by the way. I mean, the aliens on the moon don't actually keep them around very long. They ship them off to other worlds.
Well, let me ask you this then. Follow up to Corey's question. If we were to go back in space right now, up to the moon, how much of our own technology would we still find there, Keith?
In all fairness, I really cannot give you a quantification on that. I can tell you there are about I think there's something like 1,300 satellites as in pieces of debris floating around Earth. And there's a staggering amount of it on the moon at the same time, in the way of landing units that were left behind, that sort of thing. See, the funny part is when mankind left the first lander there and left the flag with it, that was left completely alone, and everybody was told, keep your hands off it. Primarily because they didn't want mankind going, oh, somebody's up there. Didn't work that well, but it's left there as a monument to mankind's first visit.
What do you think, Rich?
See,
well, I don't know. I don't know what Keith knows. I only know what I know, and I don't know. I think there's something on the moon, and I think they. I don't know why they would need our equipment that we leave behind or any machinery. What are they going to use it for? Recycle it? I don't know. I heard the flag, though. All of them by now have turned white and lost all of their ink. They have been erased by the sun's radiation.
Well, that would make total sense.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's like the American flag. The American flag up there is now allegedly white because it's faded.
So racist.
I have no problem with it.
That's bad.
If you think about it, white is literally the inclusion of all color.
Yeah, true.
Making it about as racial as it can get, because it refers to the human race and all others. It doesn't bother separating them by skin color.
All right. Janet in Ohio, I'm going to assume she's from Ohio since her name on YouTube is Janet Ohio. Then again, she may be cheating in West Virginia or Pennsylvania. She is asking, Keith, why would people that advanced use our junk?
Well, why do some people in today's world use an abacus? The fact of the matter is there are people that like the older stuff. They are caught up in the idea of things like paleontology, archaeology is what we call it here. In their world, they call it xenopaleontology or xenoarchaeology, meaning other races' history.
I didn't even think of that. That makes sense, too.
That is the primary reason they do it, because understanding how, especially when you start looking at the xeno-socioeconomic imprint that's happening right now, it's extremely exciting for the off-world students.
But they're not using it for anything. They're just looking at it, studying it, right?
Let me ask you this. Do you, in all of your studies, when you were studying American history or Canadian history, do you use any of that information for today?
No, not really. Well, it depends. If I'm studying history, but not really.
Well, let's try the obvious one. Do you know how to write?
Yeah.
That is using the information from our history. See, there's a lot of things that the artifacts from Earth's history tell about the evolution and the likely evolution of both mankind and other fledgling races that haven't gotten as far ahead as mankind has. Mankind is by no means the top of the totem pole, but it's also not the bottom.
I'm somewhere in between.
Ultimately, yeah. But I mean, they use the information for all sorts of things. Not the least of which, and you'll love this one, not the least of which is trying out different drinks that are built on Earth, because it's a foreign country to them, as it were. Right? So you try different dishes that are made from the local fauna and the local flora, just to experience it.
Hence the cattle mutilations.
I
I don't doubt that's part of it.
I have a question. So the aliens, because I guess there's a lot of them, but are you saying from an earlier part of the conversation that there's 59 or something? Is it Bigfoot and Mothman? Are all these aliens, or are they indigenous to Earth?
I separate them into two groups, and the 59 was the first volume of the encyclopedia that I've got, the reference manual called Races of the Worlds.
Yeah.
That's 59 I have personally dealt with face-to-face. Volume 2 has another 30 or so that I've already added. And I split them into two groups. Off-worlders, which are the ones that come from outer space, and ancient races, which are the locals that are indigenous to Earth.
Cool, okay.
So it's a combination of the two where that number comes from.
That's great. Okay.
Kind of exciting, isn't it? Kind of exciting.
Well, I mean, it is, because then, we hear so many things about Bigfoot, and that's one of my next things I want to hunt is Bigfoot.
Yes.
And not hunt, I want to find him, but I want to witness the feeling. And are they off-worlders?
No.
Really? Oh, wow, okay.
But I will make a very strong suggestion. When you start really seriously considering going out looking for them, do not broadcast you're going to hunt them.
Yeah, no. Okay, I see, yeah. I probably wouldn't.
It's not a question of what mankind will think. It's a question of what they'll think when they get word. If you catch wind that somebody is coming hunting you, are you going to stand out in the open?
Oh, gotcha. Very smart. Okay. Good call.
I mean, there is an off-world race that is very similar to the Bigfoot. A whole lot more volatile and a lot less friendly, and that would be the Wara. They look very similar to the Bigfoot. The difference being they will literally tear your arms off and eat you.
Isn't that nice? Yeah, they're in BC. They're in BC. Yeah, come on up, Rich. Come play the game. Come play the game.
Yeah, right.
Come with little Marky Spender and I on Sunday to go look for Dogman.
I'm planning on it.
Come on up. Just come.
All right. Do I come in the winter, fall?
Well, come when the borders are open.
Okay, deal.
Yeah. And no offense, I don't think you could handle the winters here.
Oh, no, I couldn't. But I want to. I love cold weather.
Yeah. Then you won't have problems of it.
Yeah.
I got that desert blood.
Why?
You will be having snow dingleberries hanging all over you, my friend.
Cool.
Yeah, icy dingleberries. That'll be your new YouTube name. Icy dingleberries.
Little Richie Dingleberry.
Little Richie Dingleberries. Next on Goof on Radio. Gentlemen, we've only got about 90 seconds left here tonight. Keith, I'd love it if you could tell everybody where they could find your books and your YouTube channel. Make sure they subscribe to it.
Well, the short answer is the YouTube channel is R Keith Andrews. And on all of the videos, if you look at the bottom, it'll tell you exactly how to get a hold of me and where to get the books. The other side of it, of course, is drop me a line at innervoiceenterprises@yahoo.ca. And I'll be more than happy to connect you with it.
All right. And little Richie G, let's give you got about a minute here. Give your Goof on Radio thing a little bit of a shout out here.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Yeah, YouTube. That's where we stream the show. It's Goof on Radio stream. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, starting next week at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. You can go to goofon.net, join the free website. Very cool.
Well, there you go. I appreciate you guys coming on in. And Richie, thank you so much for helping on us on out. I got to learn how to talk. Helping us on out as Keith had to get a little busy with work there. Really do appreciate you bailing me out there, man.
Anytime.
I appreciate
I'm here for
that.
you.
I appreciate it. I'll be there for you, man. These 5 words.
I know.
I swear to you.
Beautiful. I'm touched.
Uh-huh. Go say hi to your friend.
I am.
Go say hi to your friend Daniel now.
Stop it. That wasn't nice.
That
was a little below. That was a little below. You were holding that one in.
You know what kind of guy he is? He's the kind of guy who calls you his friend and then doesn't even call you or message you on Facebook for your birthday. That's the guy. He's that guy. Damn it, Daniel. Hey, everybody. We got the SOR News Wire and the Thought of the Dave coming up next on Spaced Out Radio as we take this thing home. He is that guy, Rich.
That's not nice. That's not nice at all.
No, but that's him.
I was on your show for your birthday show. That's why I didn't say happy birthday on you.
I know, but
didn't I? Thought I did.
You totally did.
Wait a minute.
But you're blowing this out of proportion. I said Daniel's that type of guy.
I know. I thought you were rubbing it off like it was me.
No,
or something. I can't read.
Never.
My memory's so bad. I don't remember anything anymore. I wonder what's wrong with my memory.
Think of it this way, Richie. You've got an absolutely perfect memory. It's just excessively short, kind of like mine.
Oh, that's true.
I had to laugh today because Captain Shirkin, if she isn't sleeping, she's probably listening to this right now. She sends me this picture of this for this story that we're doing tonight on the news. And it's a photo of Canadian money. And she goes, "Is this really what Canadian money looks like?" And I'm like, yes. Yes. You know, we got funky money. Funky money.
You guys have Krugers there?
What the hell are Krugers?
Isn't that the one with the hole in the middle? Is that? Oh, that's France, I think. Yeah, I thought you guys had that up there.
Same idea. I know the one you're talking about. I just can't remember what country it's from. But no, we don't have holes in our money. Not usually.
Okay, not that type.
No, that's holes in our pocket.
How many stories? So, 1, 2.
I should disconnect at this point, then, right?
Well, yeah, because I'm going to kick Keith off too.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to listen in.
All right.
And,
hey, Rich.
It was fun, man. Thanks.
No. Thank you, buddy. I really do appreciate that.
Yeah, so do I. Thank you so much.
Oh, guys, yeah, both of you.
Let's all clap. Everybody on YouTube, let's give little Richie G a round of applause here. Come on.
Come on.
Come on. Let's do this.
I'll do it. I'll clap for myself.
You're
Sounds like more people.
Daniel's the type of guy who claps for himself on Wheel of Fortune when he hits bankrupt.
Yeah. Oh, very good.
Yeah. I hate that guy.
He's the type of guy who scratches his armpit and then shakes your hand.
Oh, yeah. He's totally that guy. Oh, yeah.
Have a wonderful evening. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, Keith, we'll say goodnight to you too, my friend. Have a good one.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
Bye.
Good night, Keith.
Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. All right, they're gone. Gotta love little Richie G and Mr. R Keith Andrews. Good people. Good people. I need one story. Maybe one more. Toxic toads. Toxic toads. Mm-hmm. Joe wears hair extensions. Just saying. Oh, excuse me, everyone. honestly, I woke up at 7:45 this morning before my alarm, and I worked until 6:10. Forgot that I had to do an interview today with Matt Lay. He's been on the show with Merle a couple of times. Forgot that I had to do his little podcast thing. Got did that till about 7. Ate dinner, played with my son for 15 minutes, and then came into the studio and got to work. I am a little tired today, and I apologize for the yawning. Oh, I do. I do apologize for the yawning. All right, everybody, here we go. Don't forget, after party.
Only at spacedoutradio.com.
We've rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for hanging on out with us. We really appreciate you choosing your time to spend with us. Remember, you can check out our archives for free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, much more. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter as well, at Spaced Out Radio, and my personal handle at Dave Scott SOR. Speaking of the news, let's do this, shall we? The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR Newswire at the back end of every show, where we get to the weird, the strange, the wacky, and sometimes we gotta discuss when Karen acts up. There's this weird video that's going viral right now, showing an elderly woman scolding a mother for letting her young son drive a toy car without a license. You know those little battery-operated Jeeps, trucks, whatever they are? My son has one. Yeah, goes about maybe 3-4 miles an hour at tops. Well, this clip was uploaded to TikTok earlier this week by user at LunaForBoys04 shortly after the incident occurred in a California park. The mom was filming her 4 boys zooming around the park in a Power Wheels toy car, which reaches the maximum speed of 5 miles an hour. But their fun was suddenly interrupted by Karen, who began complaining about the miniature vehicle. Oh yes, Karen threw a tantrum all right. Drive all over the place, why don't you? She snapped at the children and the mother as she walked along. They're playing. That's what the park is for, the mother can be heard replying on the video in a friendly tone. I never saw a car in here before. It doesn't bother me, but what bothers me is you have a little kid in here and he doesn't have a driver's license. The mom begins laughing before saying, it's not a real car. It's unclear whether the woman was joking about the license remark. The mother captured the video, says, so what bothers her? Can someone tell me, is she related to Karen? Do I take my kids to the DMV? Many viewers responded that the woman was indeed a Karen, a slang term for a woman perceived to be entitled or demanding beyond the scope of what is considered reasonable. The humorous video was subsequently shared to Twitter, where it's been viewed more than 6 million times already. Oh, good for Karen. Good for Karen. Yeah, pretty soon they'll want to speak to my manager about this, that's for sure. Here in British Columbia, a woman said she was overwhelmed with relief when her wallet that she lost at a Walmart store was returned with its contents, more than $5,000 in cash, still intact. River Johnson of Enderby, hey, that's near my cousin's house. Anyways, said she returned home from taking her elderly parents shopping at Walmart in Vernon before she realized she no longer had her wallet, which contained $7,000 in Canadian currency, which is about the equivalent of about 5,200 American, from her 2 cannabis stores. Oh my goodness. I was losing it, she says. There was a lot of fear and hopelessness, thinking I'm never going to see it again. Why don't you just spark a doobie and calm down? Johnson said she called the store even though it was closed at the time and was relieved when an employee answered the phone. Hey, he said, don't you worry. Now you can sleep at night. It's in our safe. Johnson returned the following day and was told by the manager named Ralph that they had found the wallet and stored it in a safe place in hopes of the owner returning to claim it. He's an unspoken hero. He saved my business, Johnson says. I have had wallets lost with less than that in them and never returned, or returned without money. Johnson said he was especially impressed after learning that Bouzine, the manager, had lost his own business, 9-round gym, due to the COVID-19 pandemic. If I found that, I don't know what I would do if I was close to losing my house and having all of these problems. But he didn't do that. He made sure that I got my money back. She told the manager at Walmart that the policy forbids him from accepting any rewards for his deeds. This is way more luck. This is angels at work, and it happened to be this guy. He was my angel that night. He's an unsung hero. Good for her for getting her wallet back. Details of the suspect were not immediately available, but Indian police have arrested a man accused of causing the death of a pregnant elephant that died after biting a pineapple stuffed with firecrackers that exploded in her mouth. The 15-year-old elephant was unable to eat after the injury and died in a river in Palakkad in southern Kerala state. Yes, this upset the Indian government and people all over the country. The state forest department announced the arrest and said it was investigating whether he was a poacher or a farmer who wanted to kill the elephant to prevent it from damaging crops. Bait bombs made from food stuffed with explosives are common in India, particularly in southern states, and are used mostly to hunt wild boars for meat. The elephant's death caused an outrage among animal rights activists. One of the India's leading businessmen, Ratan Tata, said justice needs to prevail. Indian cricket star Virat Kohli called the killing a cowardly act. Maneka Gandhi, a former minister for the governing party, described the death as shocking and demanded a severe punishment for those responsible. A shrinking habitat and a rise in the number of wild elephants in the last 15 years have led to hungry elephants entering villages where they sometimes damage crops and attack residents. Early in the morning of June 4th this year, the world of hominid research was shocked with breaking news. The renowned Russian hominologist Dmitry Bayanov passed away at the age of 88. He had been in failing health for some time and had suffered from a short period of congestive heart failure in recent months. This was according to his son, Dmitry. Dmitry Yurevich Bayanov was born March 18, 1932, in Moscow. Chris Murphy posted this image of Bayanov on the back of a cover of his last book they produced together. Bayanov expressed the pleasure in seeing it used. In 2019, Bayanov's last book, The Making of Hominology, A Science Whose Time Has Come, was published. Christopher Murphy served as the editor. Bayanov theorized that the discovery of relict hominids would be a rediscovery of the hominids known in the 18th century as Homo troglodytes or Homo severitis. Yeah, Bayanov was a science director at the International Center of Hominology. His cryptozoological career focused primarily on the study of relic populations of hominids, including the Almas and the American Sasquatch. Bayanov originally graduated from a teacher's school in 1955, majoring in humanities. He worked first as a teacher and later as a Russian English translator. The founders of the hominid research in Russia included Boris Porshnev, Alexander Mashkotsev, Pyotr Molin, Dmitry Bayanov, and Marie-Jeanne Kaufman. It was a great group, but the legend has passed away. Apparently, 2020 needs something else besides murder hornets, so now we have the evasive and invasive poison cane toads. The creatures, which are native to South America, Central America, and parts of southern Texas, have been showing up now in southern Florida during the Sunshine State's wet season. These cane toads are yellowish-brown, have warts, and carry poison that can kill even dogs. The recent heavy rains in South Florida have given them the conditions to breed. As long as there is water for them to breed in, the cane toads will thrive. William Kern, an associate professor at University of Florida, who specializes in urban pest management, says they will be out above the surface, foraging and breeding. People are probably seeing more of them now. The toads, classified as an invasive species in over 20 countries, are such a threat to pets that the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission recommends the residents kill them. Oh, wow. Well, at least people won't be licking them to get high. That's for sure. Moving on. Las Vegas is back in business, though things sure look different. The city reopened casinos after a historic closure in March due to the pandemic, first starting in downtown Vegas and then the famous Strip. There were showgirls in surgical masks, temperature checks at the doors, and slot players spaced out. Oh, look at that. Spaced out among sprawling casino floors. By 10 a.m., the Bellagio fountains were flowing again, and Caesar was greeting guests in gilded masks. Here are scenes from the days where you see people playing roulette in masks. You see them pulling the slots in masks. You see them walking around in masks. And all I'm saying is open up the damn border so I can get down there. I need some of this. I do. All right, I haven't been to Vegas in almost, 4 years now. I am due. Vegas is calling me. Who wants to join me? Let's just go party. In masks. Wherever. Let us social distance party, but I'll do it in Vegas. We can do it. I have faith. I totally have faith that we can do this. You know, it wouldn't be a week without Captain Shirk throwing in a shark story. Because she knows that I love the great white sharks. I do. Well, the great white sharks in South Africa's False Bay may have deserted the area because of fishing practices, not because killer whales have started hunting them, as was previously thought by scientists. False Bay on the country's southwest coast was once a prominent great white feeding ground where sharks would regularly breach the surface to catch their prey. However, great white sharks have been noticeably absent from the area for over 2 years. Scientists are concerned that their continued absence may lead to ecological upheaval in the region. Great whites are important predators that impact the structure and function of the ecosystem, one expert says. Before their disappearance, Killer whales had turned up in the area, and their arrival coincided with a number of sharks, including great whites, being killed. Analysis of their bodies showed their pectoral fins had been torn off and their livers eaten, with bite marks indicating killer whales were behind the attacks. Research from the other parts of the world had found that when killer whales enter their territory, great white sharks will vacate and will not return for a whole season. This led to suggesting the False Bay great whites had left the area because of the threat posed by the killer whales. That's because they're chickens. Great whites are chickens to the killer whales. Yeah, go pick on the humans, great whites. Yeah, the real predators of the sea are scaring you off. Anyways, Chris Follows, a wildlife photographer and a great white shark expert, says he and many scientists, naturalists, and marine experts believe a shortage of food is behind the disappearance. He says smaller shark species around False Bay, a source of food for great whites, are being overfished to meet demands from Australia. According to the campaign website Shark Free Chips, Australia has limits on fishing, while South Africa does not. The species targeted are smoothhound and soupfin sharks, which are caught by demersal shark long lines, baited hooks spread across the sea floor. See, that's just cheating. That's just cheating. Anyways, Fallows says the evidence suggests smaller shark species are the primary food source for great whites for 75% of their lives. Historically, in False Bay, for 8 months of the year, we found the bulk of the great whites exactly where the highest numbers of smoothhound and soupfin sharks were. Nowadays, sadly, False Bay has hardly any of those sharks left when compared to historical numbers just 20 years ago. Follow says the arrival of the killer whales has simply made False Bay even less of a desirable hunting ground for the great whites. Well, of course it has. And finally, how about we end with Florida woman? You know, we always pick on Florida man, but Florida woman can be just as weird. Why? Florida mom says she isn't ashamed that she still takes a shower and a bath with her daughter, who is 20 years old. 55-year-old mom, Mary, otherwise known as Florida Mom, will appear on the second season of TLC's reality TV show Smothered, where she admits to showering with daughter Brittany each morning. The mom and daughter live together in Jensen Beach, and with no plans to move out anytime soon, Brittany said joint showers are the best way to start the day. Mary says that she has been bathing with her daughter since she was 5 years old, and in her opinion, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just a doting mom. I don't believe I set out to have a relationship this close with Brittany. It's something that was supposed to be. Brittany said it is a consensual decision to wash together. When my mom does simple things like washing my hair or my body, it makes me feel comfortable. The women told the media that Brittany used to have panic attacks they believe were partly caused by hot water. Oh, here we go. That's a kind of how I started getting in the shower with her, just to comfort her because she would freak out. I wonder if Brittany ever thought of turning the hot water down colder. I don't know. Anyways, it grew into an everyday thing, and this is just weird. She says her extremely close relationship with Brittany, Florida mom that is, has put a strain on her romance with Frank, her live-in boyfriend. It is because some issues in my relationship, but he's got to accept it. That is how it is. He knows I love him, but I love my daughter more. She is my life. Thank you, Florida mom. Great clown today, Marty. Fantastic clown. Chubby kitty with a red nose and a bow tie on. And a rainbow wig. Perfect. Thought of the Dave happens every night at this time, where we ask a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your responses on the air because, well, we love the audience participation around here. Today's Thought of the Dave is as follows. If you could hang out with R Keith Andrews, what would you do? Gabe, see if we can find a decent chili dog off planet. Since everything is boarded up or shut down, you never know if the Zetas can make a good dog. Doretta just wants to listen to Ron talk. Sylvia, that's a loaded question. Nick, Now that I know that he plays tabletop RPGs, I would get up the pen and paper and dice out and geek it up. Dave, you could come too. And Merle, if he wants. Bobby, cook something exotic for him. Oh, that's just too funny. That's just way too funny. Let's see here. What else do we got here on the old Facebook when it comes to this? I'm just wondering if I'm going to get in trouble for saying Karen so much tonight. Anyways, moving on. Mr. Skeptic says, well, I know what I would not do, and that's attend a potluck gathering with him. Maybe that's to do with aliens again. All right, Marty, I would bring my own brown bag lunch with me. Oscar, we would go out for some karaoke and sing Unchained Melody after a few Miller Lights. Nathan, coffee first, then see where the aliens take us. They're always invited. Graham, go over the 60-plus art illustrations I have done for him in the last 6 months or so worth of depictions of extraterrestrials I have familiarity with. And the final one tonight, William, I drink... aliens drink, it's in for one entertaining night. I've only ever seen Keith drink one beer. That was down at Forest Moon Paracon last year. We went out for a beer. One beer. It was actually kind of cool because he doesn't drink. But he chose to have that beer with me. So I took advantage of it. Absolutely. I totally took advantage of it. Hey, I want to say a big thank you to everybody taking part in today's Thought of the Dave. And, you know, jumping on Twitter and Facebook for getting it on done and reading your answers. That's something that I actually, believe it or not, I enjoy it a lot each and every night when we get to do that, because it is just something, it's a good way to end the night, hearing all of your responses and being able to read them, because some of you come up with some very, very creative answers for these questions, and you're forcing me to become more creative to put them out there. So I'm very, very thankful about that as well. So thank you to everybody participating in the Thought of the Dave on Twitter and Facebook. We will do it all again very, very soon. Big thank you to Captain Shirk for getting together another awesome edition of the SOR Newswire, which can be found on our website as well as on our Facebook page at SOR Newswire. I almost said Spaced Out Radio. We got a group page for that as well. So make sure you check that on out as well. And a big thank you to little Richie G, Rich Giordano from Goof On Radio, coming on in and helping me out tonight while Keith was working for pretty much the first hour and a half. And then R Keith Andrews for coming on in for the ET Connection. Keith will be with us next month as well. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother Is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, in your cars, at work, wherever you may be. Thank you to everybody taking the time to participate in our chat rooms tonight on Spreaker, YouTube, LGAB, Revolution Radio, Facebook, the Space Travelers Club on our website, and the Snarkers and Snarkettes at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. You were absolutely wonderful with your woo tonight, especially you, Derek. Please remember that this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, we're watching. We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Remember, everybody, the Woo train may have docked for the night, but we will fire it up again very, very soon. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. Come on the night with us. We're here each and every night just for you. Good night. That's a good show, everybody. Good show, everybody. Very nice. Very nice. Very proud of all of you. Very proud of all of you. That was good palindroming tonight there, Peanut Butter Rolls. Very good palindroming. I appreciate that. All right, let's move that over there. Do. Wait for you to fall. We'll expose you all. I know you're out there somewhere watching me. How we all doing? All right, I'll do it in a second. I'm just downloading the show. I'll be right back, everyone. I gotta go get some fresh air and wake up a little bit here. All right. Old Davey's back. Guess who's back? Back again. Davey's back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? 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 Yeah, you know the rest of the song. Oh, excuse me. All right, we're going to start this whole editing process here. Close that down. Move this all the way over. Move these up here. Oh, yes. Gotta love when that happens. All right. What do we got going on here? What's going on in the chat room? I think we had a pretty solid week of shows. I really do. Doug doesn't give a shit about stuff like that. He's more worried about sleeping. Tries to steal my spot on my bed each night. Then I gotta cut him off. Like, no, Doug. It's my spot. I'm doing a whole revamp of the studio this weekend. Because I gotta get it all tidied up. Number 3, so yeah, we're good. Thank you, fitness girls. Hi, Lie. Monday. Apparently, we're having to make a change for Monday because now our guest has decided that it's way too late for her. So Corrins is working on getting somebody else for that time. We just waiting for a response. I don't know who's on Monday yet. We'll announce it, though. All right. Not people in the chat, just people in general. What is Eva saying here? I'm sure. Oh. I don't know. Seems political. By the way, you should all give Corrins a great round of applause for the incredible booking on the show he's been doing recently. It's all him. I haven't been helping out too much because I've been so busy, and he's really taken the bull by the horns here and bringing us some incredible guests for all of you to enjoy. So thank you, Corey, for making us sound absolutely amazing each and every night, man. I did not eat breakfast for dinner. Hey, hold on a second here. All right. There it is. No, she's in Newfoundland. So we start at 9 p.m. That's 1:30 a.m. Newfoundland time. It's too bad. I was looking forward to that show too. It's on all the ghost ships. Hey, Len. How you doing? I'm gonna keep it quiet, but I sent on who it is, but I sent Corrins a couple of extremely famous people in the music scene. And if we could get them, it'll be awesome. It'll be just awesome. I have my Axl Rose t-shirt on right now. See? All right, let's do this thing. So, yes. Hey, Corins, did you just put a yes or no in the chat room? Did you get all the names out for next week? Or do you need some help with that? Fuck am I doing? Oh, there it is. Awesome. Awesome there, Teresa. You know I'm a fan of yours. All right. We need a verification code. It's code verification time. Our lucky 6-digit number is 027759. 027759. Mm-hmm. I'm sending those right out now. Excuse me. Gotta find her email. That's where I found it. Hey HL, how you doing, man? All right, so I got Melissa, Tim, and Josh done, and I'm just working on Chris, and William. Mm-hmm. 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 Who you punching there? Peanut butter rolls. Why are you looking for a box, Eve? And what FFS is for fuck's sakes? Why are you looking for a box? What kind of box are you looking for? And why are we not being nice in here right now? I gotta catch up here. Hi, Lee A. What am I missing? Yeah, Dave is always live. We're just downloading the shows right now. Hey, Gutter. My town has an A&W. How am I feeling now? I'm tired. I'm tired. I do have some water, actually, Len. Mm-hmm. Yes, our A&W has breakfast, Gutter. It does. Although I prefer Tim Hortons because they got a real great bagel that has like lettuce, bacon, tomato, and cheese on it. It is solid. Solid eats for the breakfast. Good night, beautiful Teresa. I love you, dear. Thank you. Yeah, it's too cloudy here. It's raining again. No, it's kind of more like McDonald's. Cool. That's done. Almost done there. Good night, Leah. All right, guys. All my downloading is done. And I'm just waxed here. And wiped. I'm going to be heading to bed here. So thank you so much for everything you guys did this weekend. Remember, no show tomorrow night. We do have a show on Sunday with Michael W. Hall. And then I'll be back on Monday. I don't know who our guest is, so make sure you check our website.